Hey everyone, Jack here from No Intermissions. Just want to give a quick little explanation slash podcast update slash massive thanks just before we roll into episode 10 of No Intermissions. I thought I'll just start us off with the podcast is still going to be rolling on. We're still going to be rolling the podcast highway. um, but unfortunately, as of now, for the at least short-term foreseeable future, we'll put, I will only be uploading once a month, just due to nothing too serious, just due to sort of like other commitments outside the podcast, of course, that in doing this sort of choice for the podcast, I feel like I can, obviously, the most important thing is still create content, which I genuinely love doing and it fills my heart. But by doing this, it feels like in doing so, I feel like I am able to have sort of an appropriate break in between doing episodes to spend time and progressing with other commitments, full-time work, all the rest of it. That way, I feel I can, you know, can continue getting episode by episode out, and yet still able to have enough time for myself to being able to put as much time and effort into it, be doing a full-time podcast on top of doing other full-time duties, and not being able to sort of release content I am not 100% happy with. That would honestly just crush me. Yeah, but that's just the update. So podcast is not going anywhere, just for this foreseeable future, once a month, just so I can, have a breather, get episodes out that I'm 100% happy with. I do have some incredible guests lined up from now until the end of the year. People I've wanted to collaborate for months. One or two I've wanted to collaborate for even years, so that's very exciting that that's happening. Yeah, so I hope you guys are excited as I am for the No Intermissions future. Apologies, this has been so off the cuff. It's incredibly unscripted. I just went, fuck it, just jump in on the mic and just giving a quick little update because you guys deserve to know what's going on. And yeah, obviously just an apology. But yeah, no, episode 10. 10 episodes of this stupid little show. Very exciting. So, yeah, no. So I hope you guys enjoy listening to it just as much as I did recording it with my lovely guests, plural, which is very cool, from the Far Off Films podcast. The four of us had a fantastic time, just riffing and just talking movies. It was great. Yeah, but no, I will leave it there. I hope you guys enjoy the episode, and I'll see y'all on the next one.
Ted, where the hell's Arch, bro?
And I'm not afraid of you. I should kill you for saving her. That woman is evil, and there's no one who can stop me from killing her.
Whatever.
That's enough. I'm not listening to you anymore.
You're beautiful.
Hey everyone!
Oh my god, this reading
My
is
thing is fucking Christ.
All right.
Jesus
Take two.
Christ.
Take two.
It
Take two.
scared the fucking shit
That's
out of me.
amazing.
No, keep that in.
Okay, all right, we'll keep that in. Hey everyone,
this
welcome back
meeting
to...
is being recorded.
It's quite loud, isn't it? Oh, that's so
Take
funny.
3.
Take 3. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Double Divisions, the double feature podcast where we pair the unpairable and link the unlinkable. 2 unlikely movies are picked at complete random, and at the end of every back-to-back discussion, no matter how hard it may be, my guest and myself will find the connecting thematic tissue, whether it be from genre, aesthetic, motive, or style. As always, I'm your host, Jack Siddle, and last time you would have heard from me, it was a little while ago. I would have had my good friend Michael Chu on when we talked about the sort of technicolor space opera Flash Gordon and paired it with the sort of all-time feel bad favorite Spring Breakers. But this time with a new double feature comes on for the first time in the podcast history, more than one guest. One reoccurring guest and 2 brand new guests. I'm very excited to announce the group of lovely people, I should say, I've got here today. I will get into the specifics of each of their channels at the end of the episode, but you can find them all as a collective on the Far Off Films podcast on YouTube. It is I've got Timmy Lee, Luka, and Jules with me. How we going, guys?
Hi.
We're all
How's it
here.
going?
Hello.
That was a lovely
Timmy's
introduction.
so enthusiastic to be here. If you can't tell.
Yeah. My enthusiasm is just off the charts. I haven't been this excited since forever.
Timmy,
I
you
feel-
have no excuse because I was up at 5 a.m. this morning. So you
That-
have no excuse to be like all down in the dumps. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
This is the struggles of being an anime fan. It's just my life has zero enthusiasm.
Just
It's just
consumed.
completely drained from my body. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I
How
had
we
a
all- how
shift
we
at
all going,
11, Timmy, so suck it
I
up.
will. I'll try. I mean, we gotta talk about the 4th best Friday the 13th movie, right?
Well, hang on, not to spoil anything here, but we will get
Okay.
into that into a second. If you all want to introduce
Come on,
yourselves
Timmy.
individually, so obviously we've got a reoccurring guest, Timmy Lee, with me.
Yes,
with-
it is I. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm AJ from the Santy Time podcast, the #1 anime podcast in the world. There we go.
And we've got Jules. Jules, how we going, man?
I'm doing good. I'm Jules of the channel the Nefarious Reels. You can find me under my alias Ninja Jedi. Not really. But yeah, I'm doing well.
Beautiful.
I'm doing
Glad
well.
you're here. And of course, Luka. Luka, how are we?
Hi, I'm good. I'm Luka, otherwise known as Floopy Doopy. I'm not gonna try and make up a fake name because I'm Floopy Doopy. That's who I am. Yeah, I'm doing good. I just realized that I'm here with 2 Australians, but I'm also repping my Australian
I did see that.
royalty in the back.
Yes.
So I am spreading the culture.
Our most recent claim to
Um,
fame is Talk to Me. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure this won't be in the actual podcast, but for anybody that's listening, I have a Talk to Me poster behind me. So yeah.
Brilliant.
Furiosa just came out this
Yeah,
year.
the three pillars of
Oh,
Australians. The 3 pillars of
Oh, hang on.
oh,
Stop everything. Luka's grabbing something. Oh,
stop.
brilliant.
What am I saying? I can't
Brilliant.
The
see it.
Furiosa poster.
What?
Remember her.
Oh yeah, Luke, you still
Remember
gotta send that
us.
to me.
So I have even more Australian pride.
I got
I was
mine.
gonna say
Okay.
we have
Can you see
we
Mad
have
Max
2 of
poster
the
back
3.
there?
We're all just
Hell
repping posters now.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at my
just
Eraser
repping our-
poster back there.
Furiosa poster.
We're all just
Definitely.
repping our
Furiosa.
Australian cinema. We're
Right.
all representing our Australian patriotism cinema thing. We're repping the 2 out of the 3
Yeah, Timmy,
Australian.
come on, shoot
things.
your favorite quote from an Australian movie.
Yeah, this will be good.
You know the one. Come on.
you put him
know
on the spot.
one.
He's
No, he knows which one he's supposed to say.
That'll
What?
do, pig.
Jules
That'll
knows this
do.
too?
That's
Yeah.
No.
I know.
that'll do,
no.
pig. That'll do. That's
No.
technically an Australian movie.
no,
The
I think it-
guy
no, I think it is Australian.
movie.
It is
But
Yeah.
the quote.
The
There is a specific
That'll do, pig.
quote.
That'll do. That's
No,
it. That is
no,
the
no.
Australian quote.
No. No. We discussed this movie on Far Off Films.
Witness Me?
No,
Is that
not
also
that.
from Babe?
No,
Yeah.
that's just from Mad Max. Yeah, it's from Babe Pig in the City.
I think that one was
scene
from
where the
Happy
pigs-
Feet too,
I think
right?
I remember when the
That was-
pig
remember
says
this?
that.
Yeah, remember the pig sprayed his mouth with silver chrome and then kamikazed himself in a car? Yeah, I remember
Picked up
that
that
scene
little
really
spray
well
can
from
with his
Babe
little
Pig in
pig hoof.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Witness
Yeah.
me.
You know the quote from Animal Kingdom.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Have you been talking to the
Yeah.
cops? Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
No.
You haven't been talking to the
Yeah.
cops, have you,
You
mate?
haven't been talking to cops, have
Yeah.
you, mate?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Jesus.
I
I was gonna say something from Lord of the Rings, but then I forgot that was the other one, not the
that's
not
the
not
other
Australia.
country.
That's the Japan of Australia, Timmy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should know
Okay,
that.
let's. New Zealand is just nicer Australia.
New
It's just like
Zealand.
more comfortable. It's just more comfortable Australia.
fuck
That's
you.
just like a given fact.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's less dangerous.
Yeah.
All right.
So
No.
anyway, yeah.
Moving on. We briefly discussed this before the recording, but since Timmy has guested on the podcast before, back in episode 2 when we talked about Curse of the Black Pearl and the Raid, I will get my two lovely new guests, Jules and Luka, to announce what two movies, what double feature are we talking about today?
Which one are we doing first?
Killer
The
one.
bad one.
What is this
So
bit?
Should I take
Like,
the first one
what-
then, Luca?
No, you can introduce the movies because I have something that I want to add
Okay, all right.
afterwards.
All right.
You haven't been talking to no intermissions, have you?
All right, what two movies are we talking about today?
We're talking about Princess Mononoke and Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter.
Brilliant.
Two very similar movies.
Yes,
Mhm.
very similar in
Both
quality.
made by auteurs. Well, one's made by an auteur, one's not.
One's
you
made
can
by
guess
some
which one.
guy.
Both
Some
animated,
guy.
both
One's-
animated classics.
One's
Yes.
one's a genius of filmmaking, and the other's some guy from Japan that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah.
And Luca, did you want to add something you said?
Yeah, we've discussed this at other places, but I just want to formally say it to the listeners of your podcast. I
Mhm.
want to formally call you out.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh God, I'm
yeah.
sweating.
You mentioned we were even talking about this like literally 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
But you were talking about Timmy and episode 2, the Curse of the Black Pearl. and
Luca will
I just
never let
wanna
this go.
say-
I'll never let this
I
go
just gotta
either.
say, like, you didn't really like give that movie the love it deserved, okay? You didn't fight hard enough, Jack, okay? We know how you really feel about it, okay?
I was weak. I was weak back.
Um,
I was a weaker man.
But now that you have me and Jules,
Yeah.
your vassals, we can finally put
Yes.
Timmy to an end after all.
Yes.
Put the reign
Uh,
of Timmy
Yeah.
to an end.
Yeah.
Yes. You
I'm
truly
like
are
this-
like an evil overlord, Timmy.
Yeah, I'm like the school bully. Like I can pick on you by yourself, but once you guys are
Yeah.
like collectively together as a
Once
group,
we're
I can't.
united.
I can't. Yeah, I can't kick your
Yeah.
asses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. No, but you heard it here first. So we're talking about Friday the 13th, the final chapter from 1984, and we're pairing it with Princess Mononoke from 1997. So I think there's no time to waste. Should we get straight into it?
Yeah.
I'm just doing your
Yeah.
theme song, man. Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Three times before, you have felt the terror, known the madness, lived the horror. But this is the one you've been screaming for. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Jason is back.
Yeah,
Alright.
just use my voice for that part. That's the...
Timmy's voice, and then like faded into the actual theme.
Yeah,
song.
brilliant. All right, so Friday the 13th, the final chapter, is a 1984 American slasher film with a cast of Judy Arson, Kimberly Beck, Joan Freeman, and Barbara Howard, and is directed by one Joseph Zito. Now, unfortunately, I think based on everyone's letterbox reviews, I stand alone in the final chapter approval side of this debate here. So I just want to
Oh,
get
don't get me
everyone.
wrong. I approved.
Oh,
the-
good. Oh, good. We will get into this, but I just want to get everyone's quick thoughts on.
Can I ask something real quick?
You
Why
may.
did they call this why did they call this the final chapter if they knew they were
Oh,
going to
Timmy.
make more after this?
Timmy.
Like, why did they do that?
We will get into this shortly, but it is an embarrassing
Okay.
story. It is an incredibly
All right.
embarrassing story.
They
but-
should have
Yeah,
just
I know the
rebranded
story.
this as they should have just pulled a Shrek 4 and just rebranded this as Friday the 13th Forever After. Like,
that would have been incredible.
Why did they do that? Yeah,
Ima-
they should
yeah.
have done that. Like,
That would have
if
been
I was the
amazing.
producer and if I was a producer of this series and I had like the ability to look into the future, I'd be like, Shrek did it, so
Yeah,
we should do it
yeah,
first
exactly.
or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
when because I know you haven't seen any Jason movies, Timmy, but when you get around to it, you'll soon discover that this
Can't
whole
believe
franchise is full of second guessing and embarrassment. It's
I
incredible.
saw the
Like-
first one. I saw the first one a long time ago. I saw the first one when I was going through my my slasher movie franchise like speed running. Like when I was watching all the Halloween films, the Nightmare on Elm Streets, Alien films, all that shit.
Right.
Friday the 13th was just something there I was like, damn, this is like dumb and idiotic even like for my standards. And I have like pretty low standards, but this one was one I was just like, nah, I'm good on this one. So I've only seen the first one and I haven't revisited the series since. So I guess I'm skipping 2 and 3 and jumping into 4, I guess.
That's completely fine. That is
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, well, I'll get into that in a minute, but what's everyone's sort of first impressions, or like do we have any past experience with the franchise as a whole, or anyone's not specifically. We'll talk about the fourth one, of course, in just a moment, but do we have any specific Friday the 13th movies that we've seen previously that we like or dislike or anything like that?
I love Jason Takes New York.
Manhattan.
Oh, sorry, Jason Takes Manhattan.
You gotta get the titles right. That's it, because it's so
Couldn't even
important.
Get the name
This is some
right.
fucking fake fan here. I love Jason. Proceeds to say the name
Yeah.
incorrectly.
The title of the movie.
No one fucking
Yeah.
calls it Manhattan.
No, I
Like,
know.
Sorry.
I don't even think the filmmakers,
Even
of
in the
movie
real world.
Yeah, exactly. I
You're
haven't
not-
seen
you're
that
not-
one.
Timmy's not going like, I'm going to the Manhattan Film Festival.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess that's fair.
Yeah, but it's not Muppets in New York. It's Muppets in Manhattan.
Is it the Muppets Take Manhattan? Is that the Muppets? I don't know anything about Muppets. I
Everyone's
grew up
taking
watching
Manhattan.
cool shit.
it is the
not-
Muppets Take Manhattan.
Everyone's taking Manhattan.
Okay.
Jason, the Muppets. They don't stand a
All
chance.
those like major like horror franchises were taking over some major city. Was Predator 2? Did that take place also in Manhattan?
That
I
was
think,
Los
or was it some
Angeles.
other?
Los Angeles.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. So
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Mhm.
Have you seen any others other than that one, the Jason Takes Manhattan?
I've seen the first one,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen like bits and pieces of the other ones over the years.
Yeah.
Just like odd bits. Like sometimes I just like stumble onto them while I'm like channel surfing occasionally,
Mhm.
which I know I'm like an 80-year-old man who still channel surfs.
You get about 10 minutes and then you just fall asleep.
Yeah, I came across like a few months ago. I was like, just came across like Jason X like
Oh,
on
God.
TV, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
this is in space or something.
yeah. Unbelievable.
It
I
took,
watched it for like 15 minutes, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like take a rain check and come back to this like sometime.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Isn't
Luca
it true that like
Hmm?
Jason X, the reason why they called it Jason X and not Friday the 13th Jason X or whatever is because they didn't have the rights to like the title or
No,
like the character
surely
or something like
not,
that? I'm
right?
pretty sure that's the story,
No,
right?
I think
the
so.
continuous thing with Jason, the most baffling thing out of this entire franchise for me is the really odd rights issue, because for the longest time, I don't even know if it's still happening, but I'm pretty sure A24 has their teeth into one now and they're trying to get one out. But there's some weird rights mix where someone different owns the rights to sort of Hockey Mask Jason, and then someone owns the right to like Jason's origin story, and like it's all over the place. It's really weird. So
Oh,
like
so
I
you
think
need both to actually craft a Jason film. It's like
yeah.
worse than like
A24 is trying to get one out now, but it's like a mess because like three
That's
different parts of
crazy.
Jason's lore and history belong to like 3 or 4 different
This
people.
is
It's
like
very
even
bizarre.
more complex than the Marvel one.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's very
That's
like,
fucking
bizarre.
insane. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's
Because that always
really
like struck
interesting.
me as like, why hasn't there been like another Jason movie besides those like Rob Zombie films in this age of like these Halloween films and these new Exorcist films? Like, I feel like
You
Jason
mean
should be
Michael
like,
Bay?
Well, the last one that came out was that
You said
Michael
Rob's
Bay produced one.
Yeah, you said
yeah, I
Rob
said,
Zombie. I think you meant Halloween for that one, right?
oh yeah, was that Halloween?
Yeah.
Halloween,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Rob
was the
Zombie
Rob
did the
Zombie one.
Halloween and then Michael Bay produced the
2009 one.
2008
Ah, who
remake,
directed
something like
Yeah.
that, or I don't know.
Who
Long
I
directed the
think it
time
was the
ago.
guy who
2009?
directed Yeah, and I think the guy who directed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Yeah.
remake directed the Friday 13th remake as well, right? I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that's
sure.
correct. Yeah.
No, that
Okay.
was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles guy.
No,
What?
those are all the same
I
person.
think they're all the same.
Oh.
Yeah. Him and
Yeah,
like
they're all
him
the
and
same.
Michael Bay have this weird like sort of they're always like
When
doing shit
even
together.
Michael Bay is too
Oh, this is the
embarrassed to
same
make a movie.
dude who did the
Yeah, when
Conan the
even Michael
Barbarian
Bay is
remake as
too
well.
embarrassed. Yeah, when Michael
Oh
Bay
man,
is too embarrassed to make a movie, he just gives it to one of his underlings. He's like, "Nah, I'm not doing a fucking Ninja
They're-
Turtles movie. I already did Transformers. You can have it, asshole."
We will get into the final chapter soon, but there is the funniest story about that 2009 movie where there is so much like gratuitous nudity in that movie that Michael Bay himself just went, it's just too much, and he just had to walk off set multiple times.
wow.
wow.
That
For
2009
him.
movie.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you
Speaking
fucked
of
up
that
when even
movie,
Michael Bay it was like,
Yeah.
nah, bruh.
Yeah, even there's too much objectifying of women in that movie where Michael Bay himself had to go, nah, I'm out. I got to tap out.
Yeah. It's like when Transformers 2 when like the racism was so bad, he was like, "Nah, that's too racist even for
Yeah.
me. I'm sorry."
Yeah. Even if I don't like, if I can quickly sidetrack, that 2009 movie, while like maybe not, it's not the greatest movie, I think it's like a perfectly well executed Jason movie. I think all the hallmarks are there. Has anyone else seen that one?
I haven't seen it.
No.
Okay.
So that one I've seen.
Yeah.
That one I've seen.
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
It's not great, obviously, but I think it's like a perfectly fine Jason movie.
I did not like it when I
No,
saw
that's-
it.
Isn't there like a character in that who's just like constantly smoking weed, like no matter what?
I think so.
yeah.
But to be fair, like every one
That
of
was a
those like
pretty funny
shitty
bit.
like slasher remakes like had a character like that who was just like, "Yo, bro, I'm the stoner pot dude," or whatever, Because
Right.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't that also the main motivation for like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake or something? Like they all were like weed dealers or some shit. Like I don't
Yeah.
fucking know. It was
Yeah.
something like that.
I
Yeah.
remember the with that text not with the Friday the 13th remake. I remember the one thing that I'd heard about it was Roger Ebert's review of the film, where he suggested that Jason should get over it with the death of his mom because it was so long ago. He's like, how sore is this dude?
It's all he knows. He's just a
Man.
butthurt. He's a mama's boy. That's all. And
Yeah. I think can we collectively agree that like out of all of the horror franchise lore, like Alien, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, Friday the 13th just has the dumbest like lore out of all of these like horrors.
If
Like
you
it's
can
almost
call it
like on the
lore.
I mean, it's lore in the sense that they like for every new entry, they just like pull shit out of their ass and like come up with like new things to add to Jason's quote unquote character. It's
Mhm.
almost like to the level of like how Saw kind of like makes shit up and like pulls things out of their ass, but like at least with like Saw, like it's really funny to think about like the entire context of the series when you think about how many times they retcon the series. But in this, it's just like I don't know, Jason's mom was like a was evil and she brought him back to life or something like it's like at a point where it's like God, this is like really dumb, you know? Like, and I guess like Jason could just do anything except, you know, his one weakness, Corey Feldman. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
I
what?
mean, that's what I was
Yeah.
talking about before, that this franchise as a whole is constantly second guessing itself, because in the franchise, Jason has died about 5 or 6 times from my count, and like they can't make up their mind. It is brilliant. I do have a soft spot for this franchise. It is, I do like it quite a bit. This one holds, the final chapter, the one we're talking about today, does hold a bit of a soft spot to my heart, because I think it's rather good, all things considered, because it does have some sort of continuity from the first three. But before we get into, I do want to hear everyone's thoughts here on what we think initially of the final chapter.
I mean, it's not good, but I did have fun watching it.
It's entertaining,
Um,
right?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I started watching it. I watched the first 40 minutes like early this morning, right after having breakfast, and then I went to work and I was like, "Ooh, I'm looking forward to going home." Then I
Yeah,
can just
I
see
like that.
more of the
That's
and
good.
then I watched like the last half and I was like, "Oh damn, this is crazy." I noticed. I don't know if you guys noticed this. I, I guess this director he just loves visually just watching people like jump out of windows and
A
seeing
lot
windows
of broken
break.
glass. A lot
I
of
know,
broken
like
glass in this
everyone's
movie.
jumping out the window.
It's
Even like the
so
dog
good.
jumps out the window at one point.
Is that what happened? Because I just assumed that like
I wasn't
Jason
sure
like
if the
threw
dog.
the
Yeah, I wasn't sure if the Jason
I
threw the
yeah, I
dog out the
thought
window or the
Jason
dog jumped out the window itself.
that was my impression. I was like, man, Jason really threw that dog out the window. And anytime someone is like hurled out into the window, whether they jump out or Jason throws them out, it's all in slow-mo, like it's some shitty
Mhm.
Zack Snyder movie or something. I'm like,
I
God,
think he just
Jesus Christ,
loves
like I
seeing
get
glass
it.
break.
It's
Like
not
he
a
just like
style.
watched Koyanis Katsi and was like, "Oh, this is good."
Yeah.
I do get the Snyder comparison. It is not as stylized. For me, it's just more of a thing of like movie magic. Look what we could do. Like watch like all these like committed fucking teenagers just like
It's not even
risk their.
stylized like a Zack Snyder. It's like stylized like one of
Zack
Zack
Snyder
Snyder's like
didn't
shitty
exist.
impersonators. Like you know how like Black Adam was like filled with all these like shitty slow-mo shots? It was kind of like more like on that level than like say like 300 or something.
Mm.
Man, I'm really remembering Black Adam so well and like no one talks about that that movie at all. But
That was
sorry.
still our
Anyway.
best horror films discussion.
Yeah. Um yeah, I didn't like the movie at all. I thought it was I like I couldn't even enjoy the movie like as like a dumb like shitty like oh it's just like a trash slasher movie where you know they be killing some folks and stuff like that. I couldn't even enjoy it on that level because like that wasn't even like most of the movie. Like most of the movie was like dedicated to like Crispin Glover saying whatever bullshit is coming out of his mouth and then like Corey Feldman's like family or whatever and I was just like damn, like this is so fucking boring. Like just get to the kills already. Like Jesus. Like in its attempts at like jump scares, because I could predict literally every single one of them. I was just like, that's a jump scare. Yep, she's dead. Oh, the hippie Canadian girl, she's gonna get jump scares. Yep, that she died. There we go. Like it was so predictable. I could literally predict every single one of them. And I was just like, damn, I can't even enjoy this like ironically. It's so boring, it's so slow, and the kills are honestly like not that cool. Like there were some
Nah, the axe
special
kill
effects where I
though,
was like,
that made me like laugh so hard.
yeah, I guess that was kind of cool. And there was this one other kill that I thought was like, okay, that was kind of cool. I'll give you that one. Was when the guy was like in the shower and Jason like squeezes his face with his
Mm.
hand or whatever. That was
Mhm.
pretty
Yeah.
cool too. I kind of liked that one as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Luca, what's our initial thoughts?
No, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm along with Timmy for this one. I did not like this movie.
Oh no!
I like
and
It was
Elise
just
can
kind of
appreciate
a
this.
kind of just a sleeper for me. Kind of just like, okay, I guess. Like, there was some stuff that I did laugh at. Like, there was stuff that I enjoyed ironically and unironically. But overall, just like, just kind of a breeze, not a breeze, like a in through one ear, out through the other ear, you know? Like, just like, okay.
No, that's fair.
just
That's fair.
just basic, I guess. Yeah.
I
Obviously,
never
this-
thought me and Luca would agree on anything.
Yeah.
Obviously, this franchise as a whole is very sort of inspired by the whole John Carpenter wave of, his sort of horror stuff.
Yeah.
Like Halloween, obviously, is the
I
biggest
just
one.
think like with these big franchises, like, and even later on in the Friday the 13th, it's like they stand out because it's like, oh, Jason, but in space this time.
Yeah, yeah,
Jason,
yeah.
but in Manhattan this time, you know? But this one was just kind of like a Jason in the woods hunting down teens. Like, it didn't feel like unique to me, you know, compared to
Interesting.
like
No, that's
the
fair.
other ones.
This one,
Yeah, it's
yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Timmy.
So it was just kind of like, yeah, just kind of felt like
yeah,
the same.
yeah, I 100% agree. Like, and I've never even like seen any like most of the other like Friday the 13th like series, but like I even watching this one, I was just like, man, there's nothing like interesting or special like it's just so like just boring, and like that's honestly like the worst thing like a horror like a horror movie can be, is just like boring, like a slasher film can be trash, like I'm fine with that, like I would rather watch a bad slasher movie than a boring slasher movie, like some of the best parts of watching these like horror franchises, like whenever I watch something like, say, I don't know, like Nightmare on Elm Street, like I think Nightmare on Elm Street is a series that like has a lot of like great entries in it. Like
Oh,
I
sure.
think like the first one in New Nightmare are like genuinely like good ass movies. Like I would consider those like good ass movies, but even like the other sequels, like they still have some entertainment value to them, whether it's like, oh, because it's like it's just fun and camp or whatever, like Dream Warriors, or it's just because it's so ironically stupid or bad, like the second or the fourth one. But like this one doesn't even have that. It's just like the first four are just, ooh, there's a spooky cocky mask guy. He's killing some teens, and all the teens are horny. It's like to me, like out of all the horror franchises that have become horror franchises, this and there was Paranormal Activity. Yeah, that was a Paranormal Activity, and this are the two horror franchises where I go, how did this become a franchise? Like, I don't get this at all. Like,
Money,
this
my
doesn't make any
friend.
sense, you know?
Lots and
Money.
lots
I
of
know they
money.
made money.
Look how
I
much.
know
Look
they
up
made
how much
money.
like every Friday the 13th movies, and except maybe like the last few ones, like
Okay.
made with like
I'm sure they're
a budget.
successful.
Like they made
Yeah.
gangbusters. It's crazy.
Can I just
Well,
say,
to be
like,
fair, it
if
also
this
helps that they're
movie,
made. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
okay, I just wanted to say, if this movie was made because of the fact that these movies earn so much money, this does not look like a movie that like seemed like it's like had a large budget
Oh
behind
no,
it or
none of them
It
do.
anything.
didn't. None of them
None of
do.
them do.
No,
None of
yeah,
them. All
none
of them are
them
dirt
do.
cheap.
It's like it's the dirt cheap make a
That's the
big
formula.
bag kind
You
of
just
deal.
they
Yeah,
they managed to crank one of these out every 2 to 3
because
years, and they're raking some money, and
Sometimes
they said,
every year.
okay,
this
let's
is
Yeah.
let's
this
pivot
is
Yeah,
that
like a
onto the
so it's
next one.
literally
It was
impossible
basically
for
an infinite money glitch of a film.
Yeah,
It really was.
It's literally impossible for these movies to flop if they were only made for like $10 each. It's like it's not that hard to make money off
Yeah,
of these movies.
I'd be
Yeah.
very
that
intrigued
movie.
on to hear you know, the if everyone's here opinion changed if they had watched the first three, because this one I feel sort of I could be talking out my ass saying this, but this one does feel like, in comparison, it looks more expensive. I think
Really?
yeah, the
It looks more
location
In what
work.
expensive
way?
than the first
The
one.
location work is
Because
a
I
bit
was
more
about
authentic.
to say that like this movie seemed like a something I like to label a one take wonder. Whereas literally everything, every shot is okay. They set it up, they do one take, and then
Mhm.
they're done, and they move on to the next.
And this is the
Because like
thing.
there was shots that like legitimately weren't even in focus in this movie.
Yeah,
like,
I noticed that as
That's
well.
like the charm of it, though. That's like
know,
that's
that
the
yeah.
as
charm.
well.
I know it's
That's the
charm,
bits
but
that I
like
love the most.
Yeah, that's like
I'm just finding it so funny that you guys are like, oh, this is one of the more like prestigious looking Friday the 13th
Yeah.
movies.
Like,
And
what are
it's
you
just
talking about?
yeah.
no, but
I honestly think the first one looks pretty good. I've seen the first one.
yeah. I
Uh,
mean, they've all got
yeah,
different. I think all
yeah.
all movies have different aspects, which sort of some of them shine brighter than others in different aspects of the craft of the filmmaking of which
Yeah.
each one of them are doing. I think this one really holds a bright light out of the majority, if not all the rest, because you guys might you guys might laugh at what I'm about to say, but this is the first time where I felt the franchise actually had like proper characters in it. Because well, I
Wow.
think I know like the majority of them are like, you know, they're just horny teenagers just waiting to get killed off. But there's something they really did benefit from introducing like the family aspect into it, because I don't know, this is a subjective thing. I don't know if you guys will think the same, but like I felt like that added more tension into the final sequence of Jason in the family home there. And I don't know, I did feel like everyone was acting like everyone was, I keep saying authentic, but everyone was acting like that scene. I'll go back to the scene where Corey Feldman is spying on the girl undressing from his bedroom. That feels like a real, like a little kid genuine moment.
What is
And
the
like
line that he says? Like,
I can't remember, but
to
like
Hootsies or some shit.
yeah, no other movie in the franchise has sort of had time to inject those little genuine character moments in there. And that's why I'm like, this is the first one where I'm like, okay, there's like, they're genuinely trying to attempt character here in one of these movies.
There was something of an
I
attempt to just stretch them like beyond their stereotypes. Like, I
Yeah.
might be wrong, but they never had a kid, like a proper like kid before.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were
And
they
that
were at
added
least
some
trying
weight to the
something new.
tension. Yeah.
And with the ending, you can view like a certain moral ambiguity to that like earlier scene, which I think is probably like the strongest bit of this, even though it's like not subtle at all. But
Right.
Corey
whole-
Feldman becoes the new Jason.
Well, yeah, that's the whole
it was like that was the
projecting.
funniest bit in the movie where like his mom's getting like
That's so
chased around,
hilarious.
like jumps out the window, and he's just like getting out like his new look. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you shaving your head and like
Yeah.
clipping your nails or something? Like,
Yeah.
you ain't got time to like look good.
Yeah,
And he
it's sort of
fucks it
passing
up.
on that
It was
projection
like-
of the Jason origin, which is, I don't know. Take that as you will. It's
I,
silly, but
I love how the best way to defeat Jason in this movie was by making Corey Feldman look like Corey Feldman today. That was the only part where I was laughing so hard. I was like, Jason, look at me. And I was just like, what the fuck?
Poor
This
Corey Feldman.
Oh my god. And then Corey Feldman's little fucking like rampage where he's like, oh my god, he's not dead. And then he just hacks him to bits like over and over and over.
You got
And I
to
was just
admit though,
like-
it's a pretty mean kill at the end.
It is a
I
pretty
honestly
cool
was
kill.
hoping they'd kill off Corey Feldman. I was like, man, I really thought Crispin Glover was going to be the last one out of this, but I guess not.
He
I thought
he's
I thought
definitely
he's gonna be
doing
like thrown out a window or something.
he's definitely doing the most. His performance is giving the most out of anyone.
He's just doing George McFly. Like
he's
it's just the exact
unbelievable
same
in this
type.
movie. I love Crispin Glover in this.
He's just doing George McFly in this movie. Like you could have told me this was like George McFly in an alternate universe, and I totally would have believed you. Because it's the exact same like approach to the character.
If Biff was Jason.
Hey,
Hey, McFly. She starts
I
knocking
thought
on
I
his
told
head.
you to never come back here, and then just stabs him. Like, now you got what's coming to you, butthead.
Yeah, yeah.
Now
That'd be
make
so...
like a tree and get
Get
out
out
of
of
here,
here.
as he said. Yeah. And
That'd
then
be
as
so
like
good.
Crispin Glover's dying, his final words was like, "It's leave, you idiot. Make like a tree and leave." Ugh.
And also, I think
God.
I think that sort of that I like so much about this one is sort of what Luca was bringing up before on. This was the last one that sort of had any sort of verisimilitude in it, I guess you could say, because all of them after this just got so goofy. Like the fifth one,
It's got off the rails.
yeah, the one after this one literally opens with like a cold open of like a James Bond, if like Jason was like a James Bond. It's insane.
What?
Yeah.
You
And
see,
like,
I want to see that movie.
well, that
I
number
wanna
5
see
is
that.
number 5's good in its own right, because that's the first one where it just goes, okay, it's sort of like self-referential and gets a bit goofy. But yeah, as Luca mentioned before, Jason ends up in space. At one point he goes to hell. Crosses over with other franchises, of course, with Freddy
Yeah,
vs.
he fights
Jason.
Freddy Krueger.
Oh,
Pretty crazy
yeah.
stuff. So I think this is the one for me. This is it.
This was the one where they were trying to like really like stretch the last of like the little just like kids going around like sleeping around and then like getting killed at like some little rural place like where they were like trying to do it earnestly before they had to evolve into
Yeah.
and Jason's got like a jetpack or something or like something.
Yeah.
I think maybe like if I expected it to kind of just be like a more traditional Friday the 13th, then maybe I would have liked it more.
Mhm.
But I was like, okay, this is the 4th one. So
Mhm.
like it has to be crazy by now, right? Like I was going into it expecting to see like something bonkers like the other ones, I've always heard so much about how crazy all these movies are. So
Not till
maybe
after
just
this
like
one.
kind of
Mhm.
yeah, like maybe my expectations kind of like ruined it a bit for
Yeah.
me because I honestly I was expecting some kooky crazy stuff, I will not lie.
I would
But
heavily
yeah,
recommend the 5th one then, because that you would really
Love it.
that one is
Okay, yeah. No, because I agree with Luca. I was kind of like I was like expecting something of the equivalent of like Halloween, whichever one was it, Resurrections, I think, like the equivalent of like when Busta Rhymes like beat the shit out of
Yeah.
Michael
Oh,
Myers.
okay.
I was
Yeah, okay.
expecting
Creep,
something on like that level.
motherfucker.
So
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
That's
I was
fair.
really hoping for something like that, like George McFly just be like, "Die, motherfucker," as he like
Right.
kills like Jason or whatever. But that never
Yeah.
happened. And I was just like, man, this is just another generic bad like Friday the 13th sequel, huh? Like I was like Luca. I was really expecting some crazy like over the like it's the 4th movie. Like she said, just go over the top. Just do something fucking stupid so we can like move on with my life. Because that's the main problem. It's just at the end of the day, it's just really boring. There's nothing to take away from this. Like I barely remember any like all the things you guys are talking about just helped me remember what I watched. Because like beforehand, I was like, man, I don't have anything to talk about because I barely remember anything. Like I don't remember anything.
What
like,
about
this
Crispin
movie at
Glover's dance
all.
moves?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You know,
What
he
about the,
actually.
Oh yeah,
What about the guy that like they're watching like he goes they're like watching like 1920s like porn
Oh,
on the
Oh,
yeah,
that's
projector,
my
old-timey
favorite scene
porn?
in the movie.
and he goes
Do you
upstairs to
think
like
like
fuck his girl twice, and the guy's just like still sitting down there like just watching porn,
He's just like laughing his ass off. His kill is like the image of the franchise for me, where he gets like he's like stoned off his mind laughing at this like really old porno movie, and he gets like stabbed through the projector screen. I'm like, that's fucking brilliant. That's like the
But I was
think
just
closest.
thinking,
Pearl
like,
wasn't
That's like the perfect amount of meta
But
for me.
I was just like, do you not feel like such a fucking loser right now? These people have gone upstairs to like,
Yeah,
fuck,
literally.
not
He's like an
once, but
incel. Like, yeah,
twice,
he's
and
like
you're just
It's
like
like an
sitting
incel.
here watching porn. Yeah.
he's like a
Yeah, I
major
would have left
incel.
at that point. Like,
Yeah, like
Yeah,
dude,
that'd be the most
you're
like
just a bummer.
shameful moment ever.
Yeah.
Do you
The
think
thing
that
is,
was
like, that it. The thing is that with the
no, go
film though
ahead.
is that like, to be honest, like I get what you're saying. Like I would have loved some like bonkers crazy shit. 'Cause again, I love Jason Takes New York. But like
Yeah.
I do also have a love for kind of like exploitation films. Like Texas
Yeah.
Chainsaw Massacre is in like my top 15 films of all time. Like, and it just kind of hit the hallmarks of like everything I would expect from an exploitation film,
Yeah.
where it's like the cold open, like I was actually quite surprised at like the montage at the start. I was like, oh, this is not what I expected.
Yeah, it literally opens with like
and
a recap for anyone like who hasn't seen the
yeah,
previous
like
three.
previously on
It's
Friday the
Yeah,
13th,
honestly,
basically.
so
I
good.
did appreciate that because I was like going into this one, I was worried that I hadn't seen the other ones.
Yeah.
Like, is there stuff that I wasn't gonna know? And then I went in and there was a little recap.
But it's like not
I
even
don't know
like
if
Yeah,
the
I was like,
recap
thank
even
God
mattered,
Christ.
but
I was not.
I'm glad that
Yeah.
it was there.
Yeah,
I'm
it's not
glad
To
even
be
that
honest,
done.
I would have
It's-
been equally glad if there was no recap. 'cause
Yeah, I
think
mean-
just like
Yeah, just like thrusted it,
having
like because
no,
at the end of
yeah, it would be more
yeah,
fun.
at the end of the day, the recap didn't
Yeah.
matter. Like it doesn't like
No.
it didn't impact the story in any way. It's just like on the
They're all the
last
same.
episode of Friday the 13th or whatever,
Yeah.
it's like this isn't like some fucking like complex series
No.
like even like the Evangelion Rebuild series where like the last one had like a recap of the first three. Like you need to know this information to understand what the hell is going on. It's not like that at all. It's just like this is what happened in the last ones in
There's, like,
case
a guy
you
called
didn't see
Jason.
the last ones. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like it doesn't matter, but here's some context, I guess.
But
It's
it's like
just like
done in like the novelty of like a camp, like kids around a campfire too. It's not just like a cold, like boring. This what happened. It's like it sort of sets the mood, which is appreciated.
Yeah,
I
but it
guess.
just continuing on. It just got kind of like hit all the hallmarks of like the, oh yeah, now this is like the fucking like with introducing the people. They're all like really annoying me. Like you gotta fucking fuck her, bro. There's like plenty of
Every
male.
character talks like that.
It's like every character's like, yeah, like romance is good until you've had sex, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah.
about? It's like the opposite way around.
Constantly calling Crispin Glover a dead fuck throughout the entire
Yeah,
runtime
exactly.
until he dies.
I feel like that was their attempt to make like a zinger or whatever, like a iconic line. Like this is the iconic line you're gonna remember from Friday the 13th, the final chapter. You're a dead fuck or whatever. And I was just like, okay, I get it. Yeah, haha. He's bad at sex, whatever. It's just like I get it. It's just I was watching this and I was like, I'm not going to pretend that I know what being a teenager in the 80s is like, but even I know that I don't think teenagers from the 80s talk like this at all. Like it was a
Oh, it's
very
co-
clear
yeah,
like
very
a
cartoonish.
40-year-old man, a very 40-year-old man pretended to talk like a teenager basically, it's like yeah, it just gave off that impression. I was gonna mention one thing about the him watching the porn thing. Do you think Pearl was like an homage to this Friday the 13th movie?
It very
And
well could be
I say
possible.
that because like the Ty West movie Pearl, because they also showed like old timey porn or whatever, and they were like, "Ooh, isn't this like tantalizing or sexy or whatever?" I was like, "Is this
Well-
like Pearl?" Like that was all I thinking when I was watching that scene.
To be honest,
So,
I'd rather
I don't
watch
know.
this than Pearl again.
I would agree. I would rather watch this again than Pearl
Fuck
again, because
this
Pearl's
movie.
just like, yeah, Pearl's just really boring and just attempting more and doesn't achieve anything that it's trying to
Well,
attempt. This
I
is
mean, it's
just
not
like
boring, but like there's just like less filmmaking, like stuff going on.
Less people being thrown out of windows in Pearl.
Exactly.
exactly, yeah. The movie would be infinitely better if more people were thrown out of windows in slow-mo.
Yeah, I mean, we sort of touched on the gore before, but I think there is like all in all there is some impressive gore. Like the one that I always
The
keep coming back
shower,
to,
yeah.
the shower. Yeah, the Timmy you mentioned before, like the palm straight into the face in the shower, or Crispin Glover being hung up by his hands in the final
that's
act there, which is
crazy.
great. And the girlfriend in the life raft out in the middle of the with like the machete straight through her, and I mean it's all
that was the funniest kill. Like she was really overacting that moment, but it made it so much better.
Yeah, and much like you said before, Jules, it's like it's like a checkbox of like it's all there of like sort of the exploitation. Like I believe
Naked girls.
this has like the
really,
most
like...
nudity in the franchise, and there's just like a whole 10-minute sequence dedicated to like just gratuitous nudity.
but there's no
Yeah.
and there was male nudity as well, but it's not.
There is.
But there's no cocks, which I was disappointed by.
Yeah, I was like, damn, all the
'Cause those
titties
guys
in
are
the
hot.
world, but not a single cock. And now it's just really disappointing and very sexist too.
Very. Yeah.
Did they make a model of that one girl when she like floats under the jetty? Like it looked like a model for 1 second, like a
It
plastic
could have
kind of
been,
thing.
yeah.
It had
Like,
to
so I was like
have
her
been,
face,
yeah.
because I was like her face looks weird. Like what is that?
Can I also ask, so why didn't Jason use his magic teleportation powers to kill Corey Feldman and his sister? Like, because that was what's really confusing,
dumb.
like for most of the movie. I get that he's dumb, but like if he has to be a little smart to know that he could, yeah, he had the right idea, use his teleportation powers to kill everyone. But then the moment Corey Feldman and his sister is left, he's just, well, I forgot my teleportation powers and I'm just
think-
gonna run after them. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
You're
I
cinema
think-
sins-ing this. Like you can't cinema sins
Yeah,
an
I'm really-
exploitation
I'm,
film.
I'm really cinema sensing the shit.
They were, I think, for this one, they were genuinely trying to scale back any sort of supernatural element because in their eyes, when they were making this was the final chapter. This was going to be the last one because I think they made this 3 was originally going to end it, but that was met so embarrassingly horrible. So they said, okay, let's retcon 3. Let's make this one the last one.
While still calling it 4.
It was still calling it 4. Call it the last chapter. And obviously,
And then a new beginning.
yeah, yeah, exactly. We'll kill Jason off at the end of this one, but this one made so much money. They're like, oh fuck, okay, we have no choice. We got to keep going.
Yeah,
So
it truly is like the Saw. It's like Saw. Like Saw tried to end at the 3rd one. Then they were like, "Fuck, this made way too much money. Well, better crank out like 4 more sequels, I guess." It's the same exact thing.
And sort of like, yeah, what Luca brought up before, like they just got after this one just more overtly stupid. Which I guess like it's welcomed, but I personally am not a fan of like going to space and stuff, and going to hell even, or yeah, it gets a bit off the rails.
Wow. It was number 1 at the box office for like quite a few weeks.
That's
in that.
brilliant.
It only got beaten by Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh my gosh,
That's
that was
crazy.
quite a summer.
Yeah, that was quite a summer. A summer for both gratuitous nudity and also extremely disturbing
Ultra-violence.
violence. Yeah, ultra violence.
Violence.
Maybe that truly did start the PG-13 rule.
Yeah, really, truly.
Thanks for that one.
Was this not rated R, or you said PG-13? Like, was this PG-13? I thought it was R.
I mean, I assume it would have been R, but who knows?
Okay.
They were,
I mean, I
were
assume with all
wilding
the
back then.
nudity and yeah, with the nudity and the violence, it had to have been. Sorry, you just made it sound like it was PG-13. I was like, what? This is PG-13. What are you talking
Well,
about?
Indiana Jones was considered PG-13 at the time, so
I guess that's fair.
would you argue
yeah.
that's better? Would you argue that's more violent or more disturbing? Oh.
I would say that's more violent than this one. Like this
Yeah,
one,
well.
like the violence was like kind of toned down a lot more than I was expecting.
But
Like
Timmy, a
in
guy
the
gets a
sense that,
spear
like,
through the dick at one point.
That was so funny.
that was pretty hard. That went pretty hard. hard. I was like, damn, that guy got
He
the
was
worst
hard.
death out of everyone. He
He
got
re-
speared in the fucking dick.
Was it? Yeah. I mean, if we're going by what these old white men, conservatives who rate who are the ratings for Timmy, then sex is far more egregious than violence.
Yeah.
Yeah, ripping a guy's heart out is fun for the babies, but the moment you see a titty, it's just no.
no,
We can't
no,
have that here. Yeah.
That's why there was no cocks in the film.
Yeah.
Release the cock cut.
Actually,
Yeah, release the cock cut.
That would
Oh,
have
man.
I'm gonna put that on my
Yeah.
Twitter right now.
Yeah, let's get that hashtag going. Let's get
Yeah,
Joseph Zito
You'll
on the phone.
retweet me. Hashtag
Yeah,
release
let's
the
let's
cock.
all
I
do it at the
will,
exact
yeah.
same time.
Okay,
Let's all do
yeah,
it
and
at the
people will be
exact
like
same time.
a collection of people just going, "What the fuck?"
Okay, I'm gonna get
Alright,
my Twitter out
alright.
real quick. Just
Are
let
we
me
all
know
doing it
when you're
now?
ready.
All caps
Yeah,
for each
let's.
word.
Mine doesn't.
All caps for each word.
Oh no,
Okay, hang-
or caps in the first letter for each word.
yeah. All right, hang on. Let's all write it out first.
Yeah,
and then
I'm
hit,
just
post and send.
refreshing Jules' page. No, I'm gonna just retweet Jules's.
Wait, no. Let's. I was about to
Wait,
say
no,
that.
we all
let's
need to
all
do it at the
tweet
same
it.
time.
Let's all tweet
we
it
have to
each,
do
but
it
then
on the
we'll all repost each other's.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so we're capitalizing each individual word. So release the cock
Okay,
cut
someone
is-
just send
Oh my
someone
God.
type it and
Oh
then
my God.
send it in the chat, and then we
I
can
will
so
do it.
all copy
it's
and
so
paste
embarrassing
it.
that I have the biggest smile on my face. This is the happiest I've been in the longest time.
Oh,
Release the
there you
cock
go,
cut.
Luca.
yeah, release the cock cut. That's what I have. Yeah. So
Alright,
I have it written
let me know
out.
when
I'm
we're all
ready to
written.
post. Just yeah. So
Should we
What if
do
we just get, like, random
another
people?
hashtag
Like John Griffin
that
just starts like
says
fucking like
should we do
tweeting
another
release the
hashtag
cock
that
cut with no
says
context.
no, it
should
would
we
just
do
be
another
funny if it was.
hashtag
This is how we
next
start a
to it?
psyop.
God, guys, let Lucas speak already. Jesus.
Sorry,
Should we do another hashtag next to it that says Friday the 13th, the final chapter,
No.
just in case
No.
nobody
No.
understands?
The
No?
less
No, no,
context, the
Okay.
better.
No.
The less
Okay.
context,
Yeah,
the better.
Because
the point is that it's like zero context. No one knows what the hell we're talking about.
Okay,
Because-
I posted.
Okay, go,
Me
go,
too.
go.
All right, because
Everyone go.
when
Okay,
everyone
I
go.
posted.
when Joseph Zito, the filmmaker, sees this, he knows exactly what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, he was like the cock cut.
Finally,
They
someone
saw
sees
it.
my
They knew
vision.
it.
Now, everyone, click on the hashtag and look at that beautiful the list that goes down for.
Is it actually like?
Someone posted release the cock cut back in 2019. Someone already beat us to it.
I'm gonna retweet that one into 2019.
Okay, wait. I don't know how to get back to my profile on Twitter, guys.
Okay, I have
Okay,
to
wait. I
collectively
figured
find.
it out.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna
to each-
repost my own one, and then I'm gonna.
This is so stupid.
Okay, I'm gonna
People are
repost.
gonna be like, "What the fuck are you
Jules'
Yeah,
one,
I'm trying to
Timmy's
repost everyone's at
one,
this.
and
Yeah.
repost Jack's one. There we go. Done.
There we go. Release
Yep.
the cock cut. Is that how we thought we'll collectively end the Friday the 13th discussion?
Yes, release
I
the
think
cock
that's,
cut. Because like, that's a
I
good
think
way to
that's a
wrap it
fitting way
up.
to end it. Yeah.
With that,
Because
I'll
like,
get.
what else is there to talk about? Like, there's nothing else to talk about
can
anyway.
I have a few notes written down if I can
No,
just fly through
Luca,
those quickly.
Go for it. The stage is
Go.
yours.
Okay. So there was one line that really made me laugh, which was you want to know where I'm going? Crazy. Absolutely brilliant. So whoever wrote that, well done. You deserve like everything. And then actually no, honestly, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, no, that's good.
Fair enough.
I mean, do we?
There we go.
I mean, there is like some genuine sort of. I mean, there is some good filmmaking attempts in this anyway. Do we agree?
Yeah, no, now that you
Yes.
speak about it, like
There's some genuine
I really
flair
like
going on there.
I really like the I guess it was like a POV shot, and then like the
Yeah.
camera went up, and then like it was like Jason's hand. So it was like a
Right.
POV shot that like turned into him like grabbing someone, which was pretty cool.
There was actually
I like
a,
that.
there was actually like a really impressive shot at the start that was like, it's like, holy shit, this feels like a shot that like Spielberg would like direct, whereas like of the like police operation at like the previous camp, where it's just like one shot that's like panning from like center of attention from like one person to the next, where you're like slowly getting towards like the barn. And I was like, holy fuck, I did not expect to see like directing as like slick and as like really well done as this in the
Yeah.
fucking Friday the 13th movie. I was like, wow.
It does stand
like-
out because all the rest of them is just sort of like point and shoot, especially like
Yeah.
the first three are just sort of very generic looking.
I was like,
Yeah, I
thinking,
was
like,
honestly
man, it's
shocked.
crazy like how bad all the filmmakers are today when like you're getting like bested by Friday the 13th part 4, the final
Yeah, when
chapter.
Joseph Zito just fucking nails your ass like that, it's just like, yeah, because there were like some surprising like, I don't even know what it's called. Like, what's that specific shot called where it's like, the camera like moves forward in like a horizontal in the vertical direction, like straight forward or whatever. I don't fucking know what that's called, but like there's like a couple of those, and I was just like, man, is this like a Hayao Miyazaki movie or some shit? Like what the, like it's like crazy. So I wonder what like auteur filmmaker they're gonna get for A24's Friday the 13th like reboot. Like I really hope they get like Ari Aster or some shit or like
Can you imagine?
like that would be fucking hilarious. Like
That's the
Robert
really.
Eggers,
Sorry, go ahead.
like get
Eggers.
Robert Eggers' next film after Nosferatu is the Friday the 13th remake.
That would be brilliant.
That would be fucking
No,
hilarious.
they're just gonna
yeah.
drag. They're just gonna drag Joseph Zito out of retirement.
Is he
Oh,
still
they
alive?
should.
I think he is. They're just gonna go. You're doing this one. I think
That
the
would be
f-
crazy.
The funny thing is, I think it's gonna be.
Oh,
a
he is still
series.
alive.
I think it's gonna be a show. And
Oh.
from my knowledge,
Probably like
Damn.
this is
Sam
the
Levinson
really
or
funny
some
thing I was
shit.
this is the really funny thing I was talking about with rights before is that I don't even think A24 even has the rights to use Jason. So I think they're just going to do a Camp Crystal Lake TV series but not have Jason in it. It's very bizarre.
You
So
know
it'll
what?
be-
Fuck's the
Okay.
point?
Here's
I
my
know.
pitch.
Voorhees.
Here's my pitch. Here's my pitch,
right.
everybody. Okay. So
Taking notes.
you
by
get
the way.
Will Smith from
No, I'm already
Men in
I'm already
Black.
out.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
already
no,
out.
wait,
No.
wait. This
Oh, no,
isn't
no.
related to the movie. It's
Okay.
not related to the movie. Okay, you get Will Smith from Men in Black. He goes around with his little mind eraser thing, and he erases everyone's mind of the movie that came out this year, In a Violent Nature. Okay, that
What?
movie doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
He erases everyone's minds, and then A24 makes an actual good version of that movie with actual Jason. Bam.
I would 100%. I
Bam.
100% support that. Let's do that. I honestly like 100% want to commit to that. Only just purely because I just want to see a not shitty version of In a Violent Nature. That would be great. I would love that. Thank you for pitching that. Like,
That's actually a really
I would
good
love
idea,
that.
Luca. That would be intriguing if they did that approach of like the trashy slasher of Friday the 13th, but did it in like an art house style. That would
Well,
be
that's what they were trying to do with that movie, but then it was
just get
shit.
Terrence Malick or some shit to direct
my
it. I mean, the
God.
guy wouldn't shut the fuck up. The guy wouldn't shut the fuck up about how inspired he was from Terrence Malick anyway. So like, yeah, might as well
And
just
by
get
the
Terrence
way,
Malick.
by the
directing.
way, as like a big proponent of Terrence Malick, I can tell that he was not a fan of Terrence Malick, or that he's looking at Terrence Malick's films in like the completely like shallowest way possible, where it's like fucking like nature. That's it.
such a deep commentary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was telling Jules about this. It's like this is the exact same mentality as the fucking like racist kid who made the Spider-Man fan film. Because like
Yeah,
his
yeah.
like the most like shallow inspiration. He was just like, yeah, Eternal Sunshine was one of my inspirations for making this racist Spider-Man fan film. And I'm like, no, you
Oh, did I
didn't.
ever-
You just took
did
the
I ever tell
aesthetic
you the
of Eternal
story-
Sunshine, you bitch.
That's
Did
incredible.
I ever tell you the story about how I made him delete his list of inspirations of his letterbox profile?
Are you responsible for that? Because I was
Yeah, that was
laughing at
me.
that and I wanted to take a screenshot and it suddenly disappeared and I was so pissed off.
Yeah, that was because of me. Because I just happened to stumble across it and I saw that and I just like I left a comment saying like "Where's Birth of a Nation?" and then he deleted it and blocked me.
Oh my dude, you ruined it. I was gonna take a screenshot. It was so funny.
No, but no, but Jules
Dude.
Cooker. Oh my god.
And I had like
We had
people
a
like
great-
in the comments like responding to me like laughing so hard.
That's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that. I didn't realize that was you.
Yeah, that was
Damn.
me.
Well, it was worth it. I guess it was worth it then. I just thought that like I was looking at that
Wow.
list, that letterbox list. I was like, wow, you cannot be fucking serious with me for a stupid Spider-Man.
Wasn't that one of them like the
film, too?
Before Sunset or some shit?
Yeah, he had all three Before Sunrise trilogy films, and I was like, shut the fuck up.
Just, like
You know,
closes
so-
his eyes and just like throws a dart at a dartboard with some movies.
Wow,
written up.
we are so off topic right now.
I know. No,
Yeah.
with that, we'll get some.
This is
we'll
like
get some-
Done.
quick
This is what
final
happens
Done
when we
with
get the
Five
Power Films gang.
Nights. No, we're done.
We're done.
with Friday
No
the
final thoughts,
13th.
anyone, for the final chapter? No sort of lines of
No.
dialogue that we wanted to talk about, that, or any sort of kills, or any just thoughts?
Rebranded as Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Then, sorry, as Forever After. Friday the 13th, Forever After. Rebranded as that, and I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
All right. All right.
I
that's fair.
liked the condemning of workplace harassment in it.
There we go. That's a good point.
That's true. Yeah.
That's such a deep.
I think the
commentary.
only final words I have to say for this movie is release the cock cards.
You heard it here first.
Exactly.
And get Will Smith
Yeah.
in it apparently.
Release
It
the
was
Will
like-
Smith cock cut.
Release the. Oh God. All right. That'll do it from us on Friday the 13th, the final chapter. We'll be right back. We're talking Princess Mononoke. Be right back.
My prince, are you prepared to learn what fate the stones have foretold you?
Yes.
There is evil at work in the land to the west, Prince Ashitaka.
My name is Ashitaka. I've traveled far from lands to the east.
Go away.
I don't want to fight you. I'm a friend.
Princess Mononoke?
Princess of the spirits of ghouls, beasts, and ancient gods. The wolf stole her soul and now she lives to kill me.
You're beautiful.
All right, we are back and we are talking Princess Mononoke, the 1997 Japanese animated epic historical fantasy film with a cast of, sorry if I butcher the names here, I've got Yoji Matsuda, Yukiro Ishida, Yuko Tanaka, and
Billy
Karu
Bob Thornton.
Kobayashi. And of course is directed by the legendary
Many joy.
Hayao Miyazaki.
Who's that?
Yeah, well, Timmy,
Some fucking
I'm
guy.
sure this was the first time watch for you. So, what did we like it, or I really want to get you into this anime genre.
No, it's it's
Uh,
just a ripoff of Avatar. I can't believe this
yeah.
Japanese guy ripped off fucking James Cameron like that. What a
Yeah,
fucking
damn right.
dick.
Damn
Yeah.
right.
Incredible.
Yeah, and I this is my first time watching this anime crap. I don't I've never been exposed to Japanese animation my entire life. I don't even think animation is cinema, if I'm being honest. It's just cartoons for babies. So
this
the fact that you made
Miyazaki's
me
a
watch a
hack.
You
cartoon
just
for
like you
Yeah.
just like watching like old movies and like M. Night Shyamalan movies that you really love.
Exactly.
Don't shut up about
Ridley
Trap.
Scott, Zack Snyder
Yeah,
movies, yeah. So, which other
Marvel
directors do I
movies.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Marvel movies, Saw movies, Friday the 13th. Those are real cinema. That's where that shit is at.
Yeah, none of this
So,
bullshit.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
no,
Speaking
I'm
in
just
foreign
I'm just-
language.
yeah.
this is
Yeah.
this is a good one to talk about. Obviously, I've got the Far Off Films podcast here, obviously, and we're talking Princess Mononoke. So I believe, Timmy, you've been wanting to recommend this one on your podcast for quite a long time. Is that correct?
And he'll never be able to.
See,
he won't be able to.
This
now.
is See, this is actually you actually did a first that Far Off has never done, which is we've never actually talked about okay, I'll rephrase that. I've never actually no one has ever actually recommended a Ghibli film up until now on the actual podcast. We talked about How Do You Live, but that was just purely because we all saw it, and we talked about it as like a modern
you
movie
guys
thing.
talked about it without me.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we saw it, not Luke. But yeah, this is the first Ghibli film that's been like the main subject, and I guess we've never really done that before, which is crazy. So thanks for
Can I tell
giving
you
us
guys
this
something?
first. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
So currently in South African theaters, they are playing 4 Miyazaki films, and not one of them is Princess Mononoke.
That's fucking
what the fuck?
atrocious. What ones are
What
they
the
playing?
fuck?
What are they playing? Which ones are they playing?
So they're playing Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, Howl's Moving Castle, and The Boy and the Heron is just still in cinemas. Yeah,
Still in
Damn.
cinemas though. Wow.
it
Damn.
only came in cinemas like a few months ago. So
Oh, okay, interesting.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I wish it was still playing in theaters to this day, because I saw that film 3 times. I saw it.
You surprised me.
I mean, well, the second time it was just because my brother hadn't seen it yet and he really wanted to see it. So we went to go see the dub version just because I just wanted to hear what the dub sounded like, and it was exactly what I expected. It was fine. It was whatever. It was serviceable. And then I went to go see it a third time, and I was just like, okay, This is a 10 out of 10. I was like, it was like a high 9 out of 10 at first, but then like after I saw it the third time, I was like, okay, this is it. This is like if this was Miyazaki's last film, I would be bummed because I would like to see at least 2 to 3 more movies from him. But if this was his last film, I would not be disappointed.
It is his
I
last
think this
film,
is an
bud.
amazing
It
film.
is his last film.
No, he said he's already making another one, and we're not gonna jinx it. We're not gonna say, well, he might die like while making the film. We're not gonna say any of that shit because it's gonna happen, and I
No.
refuse to acknowledge that. And I really, really hope that it's not a squeakquel to Nausicaa: The Valley of the Wind, because that would be fucking annoying if that was his last
Is that what the
film. He's
rumors
like,
are?
oh, well, yeah,
Yes.
like one of the theories is that
okay.
like his next film was like a sequel to Nausicaa. Not that I don't like Nausicaa. It's just that like if I'm going to watch an expansion of Nausicaa, I would rather it be like an anime series than like
Why
a
do you say
movie.
it so
'cause-
weirdly?
What do you mean?
Nausicaa.
Say what weirdly? Nausicaa? Is
Nau-
that how you how
It's
Nausicaa?
Nausicaa.
Is that how you Okay,
Nausicaa, the
whatever.
Valley of the Wind.
Alright.
Can't even say the
Okay,
name right.
Nausicaa.
Yeah,
not
fake
fan.
fan.
Fake fan.
fake fan.
It's Nausicaa.
Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Yeah. Because it's I know the manga is huge, and I was just like, just make it a series, Hayo. Don't make a sequel. Make another original movie. You know, like I would be so disappointed. But anyway, yeah, it's just
What if Goro Miyazaki made it?
I would be fucking livid. I would be pissed. I genuinely think after he made Ear Rape and the Bitch, I was just like, I do not want you to make another movie after that. You are fucking cancer, and I do not want you to touch another movie again. I fucking hate you.
I think the
Oh my
only
God.
person that hates Goro Miyazaki as much as Timmy is Hayao Miyazaki.
Is Hayao Miyazaki?
The second
No,
film's
no,
not
but
even
like,
that bad.
here's
to be
what's
honest.
here's
Like,
no,
it's
it's
up on
easily
It's a
from Up
pretty-
Poppy
it's a
Hill is
decent
fine.
film. It's a
Yeah,
decent
it's
film.
decent. It's fine. But like that
Nah,
also has the
y'all
benefit
hate
of
Tales of Earthsea too much.
No.
And we
Tales
have
of
talked
Earthsea was
about a Ghibli
awful.
movie. We talked about Tales of
Oh.
Earthsea.
Yeah.
Fuck, we did.
No.
Damn it.
Better than
I
Princess
totally
Mononoke?
forgot.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Tales
100
of
100
Earthsea,
better.
You know, they're both very fantasy-driven movies, and I think Tales of Earthsea just does that whole fantasy thing way better.
100%. I mean, the movie does Princess Mononoke doesn't even
That's a
have wizard
joke.
crack. It's not even a good movie if it doesn't even have wizard crack.
It doesn't have gender bender Willem Dafoe.
Exactly. Yeah. So what's the point?
That's true.
Yeah. So
But with
yeah.
Princess Mononoke, I want to get everyone sort of where does this rank among sort of the Studio Ghibli films, and like what's our
Ooh.
sort of, much like we
Oh,
talked
yeah,
about
my
with
ranking.
Friday the 13th, what's just our initial thoughts before we get into sort of the meat discussion of it. Like personally, this is the second time I've watched it, and this is one of those things. I was talking to you guys about this a couple of days ago. I can't believe it's, I've only seen this thing twice. This to me, after this rewatch, as perfect as a movie as you can get. Like this is
Wow. Yeah.
this is like in the rare occasion, like for me, sort of with Heat. Everyone knows my love of Heat. Like it reaches beyond just a movie. This is like just something completely else.
wait, Jack, you like Heat?
It's my favorite anime. It's my favorite anime.
Oh yeah, directed by
Oh, man, Yowie.
Hideaki Anno.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
the
that's
best
right.
anime. Yeah,
right.
the best anime ever.
But
Yeah,
what's our initial
so-
thoughts on Princess Mononoke, everyone?
I mean, it's a masterpiece.
It really is. It's
It's my second favorite Ghibli film and my favorite Miyazaki film. It's just
What's your first?
my first
Grave
Ghibli
of the
film.
Fireflies, right?
Grave of the Fireflies. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
Have you seen that, Jack?
I haven't. No, this is the thing. I was talking
man.
about Timmy. I was talking with Timmy about this the other. I really need to catch up with the Ghibli stuff. I've seen a small handful. I've seen Spirited Away and Porco Rosso, which I both love very, very much. But yeah,
Mhm.
I think that might be it.
Better
You
a
ever seen-
pig than a fascist.
Yes, God,
You ever
that's
seen Totoro?
I haven't seen Totoro yet.
Damn.
You've never seen Castle in the Sky, right? Or
I've
Kiki's
seen
Delivery
I've
Service?
seen Howl's Moving Castle. That's the other one I've seen.
No,
I
but
wasn't.
Castle in the Sky, you've never seen that one, right?
I haven't seen that
Those are
one.
two different things.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I haven't seen
You don't
Castle in
need
the
to see
Sky.
it, it's
I
kinda
wasn't
bad.
as hot on Howl's Moving Castle as everyone else is.
Me
but
neither. Me neither, honestly.
See, I don't get that at all. I think that's easily one of his best. I fucking love Howl's Moving Castle,
I
but
might
that's
need
a
a rewatch.
separate topic for another time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I might need a rewatch.
Mhm.
You
But
know
no,
what sucks though, Timmy? Castle in the Sky.
What? I'm not having this discussion with you again, Jules.
Same with Nausicaa
like
Valley of the
Castle in the
Wind
Sky.
and Ponyo.
Oh, you're not a fan
I'm
of
not
Ponyo?
having this discussion with again
Timmy's
with either.
seething
Same
right
with
now.
Whisper of the Heart as well.
Seething.
Okay, we're you've seen Ponyo though, right, Jack?
No,
Okay.
haven't seen Ponyo. I do need to catch up.
Have you seen Kiki's Delivery Service?
Oh my word,
I
stop
haven't.
listing every movie he hasn't fucking seen. Like,
Have
he
you seen
literally
Satan
told you
Tango,
which ones
Jack?
he's
Like-
seen.
Have you seen Have you seen Battleship, directed by
I've
Peter
s-
Berg?
Brilliant. No, Luca, what's our sort of initial thought? Like, what's our relationship with this movie?
Love this movie. It is my favorite Miyazaki and my favorite Ghibli movie.
Very nice.
And then right above My Neighbor Totoro. I recently watched Totoro in cinemas, and
Oh.
I always really loved it, but like seeing it in the cinema like really like hammered that home. I was like, oh shit, I think this is actually better than Spirited Away. Loki. But and yeah, Princess Mononoke has just always been my favorite. I've unlike you, who's only seen this for a second time, I've seen this like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
love this thing.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. That's about to change. I'm gonna watch this like
Yeah.
twice a year, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This might be a bit of a weird thought, but this movie feels almost like Lord of the Rings-ish in like a weird
definitely.
way.
No, definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I would- I would-
You guys do see the vision? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Miyazaki's
Yeah, it's just
Lord
like
of the Rings.
it's just like a pure fantasy, you know, just like a pure fantasy new world, like you're getting dropped in there. And yeah, and that's why it works so well. It's just like very distinct and realized, like one of those like fantasy worlds that people get attached to. And that's probably
I
why
kind
so
of-
many people love this movie, you know.
You mentioned
yeah.
the Lord of the Rings thing. I think like another appropriate way, and I can actually say this now because I've actually seen some of his movies, but I always thought of this as like Miyazaki's like approach to making like a Kurosawa samurai film as well. I kind of like thought of it as like kind of like that as well. Like if this was his version of like Hidden Fortress or Seven Samurai or some shit like that, you know. I think that's like another appropriate description. So, and the two have met before, so must have
Oh
had
my
some
God,
sort
did
of
you-
influence on him.
Did you know
Yeah,
that
I saw the
story
inter-
about? Did you know that story about how he loved Grave of the Fireflies so much that he sent a letter but he sent it to the wrong director. Like he
he
got
sent it
confused.
to he
Was
sent
it-
it to
he-
Miyazaki instead of Takahata. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so
Yeah, I'm-
awkward, dude.
Uh-oh.
You're like, my goodness, Mr. Miyazaki, like your film Grave of the Fireflies was like a masterpiece. I could not believe it. He's like, I didn't direct that.
Oh,
didn't make that
thanks.
one,
By the way, I
bud.
didn't direct it. It was my buddy, Isao
I'll forward it
Takahata,
on
which
to my buddy though, who actually did direct it.
yeah, actually, he
Oh
did
my
all the
God.
work. Sorry, but thank you for giving me the credit for that
Well,
masterpiece.
speaking
so,
of like
yeah.
those two movies together, like this was the first time that Mia like Grave of the Fireflies. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that it's pretty
Sad.
dark, you know.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's
Yeah.
also like there is also like imagery in it which is like gory and bloody.
Yeah.
And this is like the
Well-
first time that like Miyazaki kind of tackled that sort of imagery.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I was
like-
startled
Kind of
on
both
how
of
sort
their
of
like
yeah.
their kind of takes on
Yeah.
that kind of like war kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
this is
sure.
this is out of all of Miyazaki's films, this is easily his most violent, I guess, his most visually
I was
explicit
shocked.
films. Like,
His most
yeah,
adult
because
film,
like
I'd say.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I would say this is even more adult than something like The Wind Rises, because like The Wind Rises is also like an more of an adult type animated film, but like
Mm.
The Wind Rises also kind of like masks a lot of like the horrors of war with like more subtlety and more kind of like more of an offhand
Yeah, this
type
one's more
like
just
disconnected
outright.
approach. Well, this one is just like people's arms and heads are
Yes,
being
heads,
decapitated
Oh,
and
yeah.
cut off and
so
shit, you know? So it's
nasty.
like
It's great.
yeah, it is very I've always considered this film out of all of Miyazaki's films, this is the one I consider to be his I forgot who I got this from, but like I remember I got this quote where it's like this is Miyazaki's like angriest movie, where like this is his most like okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat the themes of this film. I'm not going to hide, you know, like what I'm trying to go for anymore. I'm just going to make this very explicit and very in your face. And you can definitely see that in the film. It doesn't pretend about what it's trying to go for. It is very,
Mhm.
very explicit about its themes, its imagery, its metaphors, its themes, everything. It is very upfront about what it's trying to go for. And I think for the most part, it achieves it masterfully. I think this is my second favorite Miyazaki film. I think Spirited Away for me is still my personal favorite, but this is still like they're both 10 out of 10s, you know? It's like at that point you're just like pulling hair out of just like what is slightly better than the other, you know? And like but this is just like I think I've seen this film at least like 11 or 12 times at this point. I know this film like the back of my hand. I know this film very, very well. I love it. Everyone loves it. Um and I think the great thing about revisiting this film is just when you pick up new things that you never noticed before, or you kind of start to think about like things that you haven't really thought about in the past. Like, you know, I always like to imagine, say, like Lady Ebushi's character, for example. I always theorize that like the reason why she's so sympathetic towards essentially just like the outcasts, you know, lepers, former prostitutes, whatever, is that she herself used to be in a similar position. Like maybe she was like a courtesan for like the emperor or some shit like that, you know? Like I always like coming up with theories and ideas and like, you know, have these thoughts to myself whenever I rewatch the film. You know, it's just yeah, it's a masterpiece. I don't
That's
know
the
what else
beauty
to
of it,
say. It's
is
really
that
great. Yeah.
it's a movie so textured and it's got so many sort of minute details in it, and it's quite, I think it's impossible for, you know, any of the four of us to unpack everything in this movie, because like Timmy said, there are so many sort of undercover minute character details going on. There's so many textures, there's so many landscapes, so many creatures. It's an unbelievable achievement. And you're totally right in like sort of the angry nature of this movie, because it's clearly made by a filmmaker who hates war and just shows like sort of the bleak brutality of like what it can cause. And it's like I just openly wept after after it finished, because I was like, that is just like it's
Wow.
a perfect movie. I was really astounded by sort of, I don't know, just the power it had, and like sort of the, you know, that message. It really got through to me on how like sort of passionate, just purely on, yeah, how passionate he was on crafting it, because it is like, yeah, it's just, it's perfect.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he made the film in the kind of aftermath of the Gulf War and the Bosnian War, which were very, very brutal conflicts. And I think the thing that makes it just kind of like the best that it can be is that it like, while it does have like a thing about like nature always triumphing and stuff, and like
Right.
uh, he's also like he's also very careful to show like that while these progressive ideas are like really good, such as like the, you know, the kind of feminist angle of the film with like the former prostitutes and stuff, and the lady, what's her name again, Ibona
Ebishi.
or Ebishi, yeah.
Oshi. Yeah.
Lady, Lady of Oshi or whatever, and being a very kind of like feminist character who's like, she's just like getting right in there, like leading, like taking charge and stuff. But it's also, she doesn't have like the most like like completely sympathetic angle, because she does do some like
No,
bad things, like she does
driven
shoot
by
at like
complete
some,
hate. Yeah.
yeah, driven by complete
Yeah.
hate. so that there can be like hateful things that stem from these like
Oh yeah,
wonderful ideas, and I
that's
think
what's
I think that's the thing that makes it so special, because like he's
yes,
trying to balance everything to show like, like we can have all these like great things, but like at the end of the day, like if we use it for the wrong reasons, it's like basically the whole message is just like don't hate, like just be nice to each
that's
other.
it. Yeah,
And it's
exactly
like
right.
that's such a simple like thing, just diluted down into like these really good ideas, like wrapped up sometimes in these
Yeah,
hateful things. I think that's what
this
makes it just
entire
so.
movie is just what if Dalton's like quote from Roadhouse, "Be nice," just was a movie and
Right,
an anime, and
yeah.
that's just
Yeah.
and that's Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, exactly right. But done in just
Yeah.
complete ugly fashion too, because there's some like we made there's just some horrific things that go on. People get
I mean,
caught in the crossfire of war and
yeah, like speaking of that, like I love how this film kind of uses like kind of like its weaponry as like kind of like a form of expressing these ideas. Like, the guns, they're effective. They cause harm to the nature, obviously, the big man-made weapons, but like the guns in this movie are also like the thing that causes harm to like
Mhm.
the themselves as well. Like whenever they like shoot one of the guns, like it sends like three soldiers flying backwards and like
Yeah.
destroys their own troops, destroys their own
Yeah.
housing and stuff. Like, whereas compared to like like the more elegant, like kind of natural uses of like knives and bows and arrows and stuff that like
Mhm.
the heroes use in the film. And that's why like it's such a shock to I think they're like samurais or something, or like the thieves in the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
where this motherfucker like shoots them with a bow and arrow and it like completely pops his head right off,
Oh, and his
because like that's
hand.
not supposed
Oh
to happen,
God,
like
unbelievable.
they're
Yeah.
like, holy shit, like this guy must be possessed, because like the elegance of a bow and arrow isn't supposed to do that. It's supposed to like not actually provide so much harm to its own surroundings,
Yeah.
whereas like
Yeah.
the big artillery does do that, which I really like. About that was something that I picked up this time while watching the movie.
Yeah, it's a real like clash of like ideals and like different forces of
Yeah.
nature, that I mean that being actual nature and just industrialization, because like what I really
Hmm.
love about this film is just how morally gray everything is. Like there's no like clear-cut good or bad guy, because like they could have
Mm.
easily just done like the Avatar thing where they're just like, oh, the blue people are good and then the military are bad. Like they could have easily have just done that. And what I love about like Miyazaki's approach to not just the violence in this film, but just all of his movies in general is like there's a lot more like morally gray, like nuance to the conflict, like yeah, I guess like Lady Eboshi's like technically the bad guy in the film, but she's not really a villain per se. It's like it's a matter of perspective, really. Like yes, like she's ripping apart nature and she's cutting down trees and polluting and blah blah blah, whatever, all this bad shit. But she's doing it for a real like human and noble reason. She wants to provide this haven for for essentially like society's outcasts, the lepers, the poor farmers, the
Hmm.
former prostitutes, blah blah blah, whatever. And it's a society where everyone is on equal footing. There's no sense of prejudice or superiority or hierarchy other than there's a leader and then there's everyone else. Like it is a safe haven where real long-lasting change can happen. And then you take a look at the nature perspective, like the quote unquote technically the
Hmm.
good guys, I guess, like like they're completely justified in attacking and being angry towards Irontown, because they're ripping apart their trees, they're taking away their homes, they're killing and slaughtering, their people. So they have a right to be angry, like it's not right for them to just take shit and just kill things in their path. But at the same time, they're very unsympathetic towards humans. They're very willing to engage in a lot of like bloody violence and as a means of acting against, humanity and stuff. And it's a very nuanced take on war and conflict like this, and it makes sense what Jules was talking about how um stuff like the Gulf War was an inspiration for this, because at the end of the day, like, as much as nations like to make clear good guys versus bad guys or whatever, like, it's really not that simple. It's a lot more nuanced. There's both
Well,
there are both people trying to do good, but there are also selfish people primarily driven by their own motives. And even the selfish people, like, are not entirely like assholes, like the guy, the spy, like the guy with the umbrella and the long like sandals, like, yeah, I guess he's also technically a bad guy, but like he's also very kind to Prince Ashitaka. He shares food with him. They sleep together, not sleep together. You know what I mean?
Whoa, I didn't watch that version.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
Dave.
I watched the X-rated cut in case you didn't know. Yeah, but yeah, like, he's very nice and he's very humble, and he shares food with them. Like, there's like kindness amongst
That's a
all the
great
characters, but all the
sequence.
but there's
Well,
there's kindness. Every character in this film is capable of kindness, but they're also very capable of selfishness and violence as well. And
course.
it's just a matter of who you see as the good or bad guys, entirely dependent on how much are you going to scale their acts of good versus their acts of evil, I guess, if that makes sense.
exactly.
Mhm.
And it's also because just like kind of at the end of the day, all war is about fighting for survival. And
Yes.
the thing that usually starts that fighting for survival is like the threat of like eliminating a way of life.
Yeah.
And that's what both of like the I guess like powers in this film are like fighting over, which is like the forest and their need to survive, because they need to they need resources to survive. And you can argue that the Miyazaki kind of like he puts more emphasis on like the Iron Town being like they're like, oh, we need these resources because like we kind of like saying something about like humans gobble up resources a lot more than they should, and versus like letting nature regrow itself. So I feel like that's probably his take on that, but like you can also view it in any way you want, and I think he leaves plenty of room for nuance in that.
I think it's also like it's very hopeful, like
The
Exactly.
obviously
ending
in
is
this
incredible.
movie.
The ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
the ending is
obviously like
amazing.
the forest gets destroyed, but like it kind of instantly repopulates.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like in real life, obviously it wouldn't happen that fast, but like at the end of the day, even if like we do destroy everything, like nature will regrow, nature will come back. Like we can't stop it forever. So it's kind of like a very hopeful outlook. Like we will go and destroy fucking everything, sure. But
Sort of refurbishes back
Yeah.
to the quote where it's like you cut off a wolf's head and it's still gonna bite. Just talking about sort of the ending there with nature on how, we get rid of
Yeah.
it, but it's just gonna come back anyway.
I mean, you say that, and an actual wolf's head like comes back. And
Literally,
bites.
yeah,
Yeah,
she says that.
exactly.
She says that as like a
Yeah.
metaphorical thing, but that
Yeah.
literally happens. Yeah, I stood up
Yeah.
and clapped. I was like, "That's brilliant."
It's like, yes, cinema.
Yeah, it is really just sort of like a montage, like the whole movie. Like we were talking about, there's obviously some deep commentaries going on that are just like brilliant, but it's also you could just watch it as just a complete gorgeous montage of just arresting images of like just a sweet fantasy film too, and it works in both regards completely.
Yeah,
One never sort of
I think that's
overlaps the other one.
I think that's the beauty of Miyazaki's films, is that like at the end of the day you can take whatever you want from his films. Like you can take away whatever sort of message that you got out of the film. But what I particularly like about Miyazaki as an artist is that as he grows and as he makes more movies, like he becomes a lot more political, I guess. He becomes a lot more explicit about his own personal viewpoints and beliefs, because you have to keep in mind that the film he made before this was Porco Rosso. And like I said before, like that was the movie where he was like, I'd rather be a pig than a fascist or whatever, and I was like, yeah, and I think we're getting into this area of Miyazaki's career where he's like he doesn't want to just make, fun, whimsical, like family friendly type adventure romp. He wants to make he still wants to make that, but he still wants to also make something that people can take away, that people can go, okay, this is what I believe in, this is what I want to communicate, and this is what I want audiences to hear me say when these things happen, when characters say certain things, or when certain actions take place, or when certain acts of violence take place. It's like I love how like unafraid Miyazaki is about expressing his own viewpoints, and like whether or not you agree with him doesn't really matter. You can disagree with him all you want, but I love how just like upfront the film is, and you can see that in not just the violence, but just even sort of like what I like to call the whimsy fantasy parts as well, because when you think about like the whimsy fantasy parts and say something like Totoro or Kiki, they're a lot more, I guess, like cute, I guess, if you want to call it that. It's a lot more just, oh, it's fun, it's whimsy, it's there, it's just it's there, it's the kids will eat it up.
Yeah.
And but the fun and whimsy in this one, I would argue it's a lot more creepy. It's a lot more kind of there's a sinister nature to it, I guess, and like the biggest thing comes from like the deer god, the forest spirit or whatever.
Yes,
Even
I
before
wanted
he
to talk
becomes the
about that.
yeah, before he becomes the giant fucking Evangelion sludge monster, there's this sense of like eeriness to
Well,
his look,
even-
like the way he like he stares directly at the characters, the way he
Yeah.
stares directly into the audience. It's just there's this eeriness, the sense of like anxiety where it's like this does not seem
Yeah.
natural at all. This feels very weird and feels almost kind of
Yeah.
frightening, I guess,
Really
It's
funny
just
you
like
say that.
it's like
Sorry, go
bowing
ahead.
in the presence of like a literal god.
Yeah, it's funny because like
Yeah.
it's even like within the context of the characters in the movie, they find it creepy. It's not like everyone finds it like sort of an innocent, whimsical. Like even characters in the movie going, "That's fucking terrifying."
Mm.
Yeah.
I love the design of this dear god as well, because like it's kind of like encapsulating like multiple species into one thing. It's like it's an animal kind of, but like it has a human face,
Walk
but
on
also
water.
like
Yeah.
it can walk on water. It makes plants when it
I
walks. It
wonder what
has
the
Yeah.
symbolism is there.
it has like reptilian.
It's dear Jesus.
It has like reptilian feet, but like a mammal
so weird.
body. Yeah, it's just like, but it's just like kind of like, intertwining these things of like how we are kind of all connected to like the planet or something in
Yeah.
our own weird way, like we are all under the same ecosystem, whether we like it or not. And yeah. And I really love how it looks. It is very creepy. It is very like, especially like because when you first see it, he's kind of just like a silhouette,
Yeah, and it's all sort of
So
like
you're like, okay, he's kind of like
Beautiful
a
shot.
yeah.
you're like, oh, okay, he's kind of like a crazy looking deer with a lot of antlers, cool. And then you see him, and it's like this blood red face, and you're like, oh my god,
What the fuck is that?
like, yeah, it's very
Oh my god, it's God.
very spiritualistic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's God.
Jesus Christ, it's Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, and sort of like the repercussions on the finale there, and like, these characters trying to overcome nature and what happens when you actually like kill it. And it just like it's like just fucking terrifying concepts. For especially in a
literally.
movie that's like just sort of comes across like so gentle, and everyone just seems so all the characters in this movie, it's weird to describe, but everyone just seems like so fragile. Where you're like you're constantly it's such a weird one because it really
It's because of like the weird danger in the film where it's like
everyone you really
it
do
feels
and
like it actually feels like people could die in this film. Like,
yeah
oh shit.
Yeah,
and you
everyone
really
just
do
seems
care
like
for
so
everyone
pissed
so
off.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As soon as you see the guy riding around on like the deer thing, it's like,
Yes.
man, I like this character
Yeah,
already.
you're locked in.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I love how like Goro looked
And
at that
that's
and
like
was like,
that,
I am going to copy and paste this shit on Tales from Earthsea.
No, but like
Sorry,
like
go ahead.
seeing the guy ride on the deer, like very early on, like it is just like that true like kind of fantasy opening, like
it's a great opening.
Seeing the
Fantastic
guy
opening.
like
Oh my god.
riding in on
Can
the
we
horse, and just like the world building, like placing you into this world, having like addressing all the different
Yeah.
parts of the ecosystem and
Yeah.
like how these guys aren't actually from the forest, but they've come to fight for the forest. These guys are from the forest,
Yeah.
but they don't like them, and it's all just like webbed together so perfectly,
And it all feels
like,
authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it like
It
feels
doesn't
like
feel
it's
like
breathing, feels like it's alive,
Yeah.
you know.
everything feels like a natural next step from
Yeah.
the last thing that happened in the openings. Like the opening scene, like that opening alone is like we could talk about for like half an hour. But
It's
just like
brilliant. It really is the best way to open that
that
movie.
opening, I first of all, I think, I don't know about you guys. You guys feel free to disagree with me, but I think out of all of the scores that Joe Hisaishi composed for Miyazaki, this is easily his best one. This is my favorite out of all of the Joe Hisaishi Hayao Miyazaki scores. Like the way this film opens is just incredible. Da, 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 da,
Over the title card, yeah.
da, 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 da. Like it just that grand sweeping opening, like musical, like the theme, Ashitaka's theme is just, oh my god, such a great way
Fantastic.
to open up a film. And like
Yeah,
the
it's
music that they
phenomenal.
play just like is just phenomenal. It hits hard and it's so effective. And the way, like Jack said, it plays over the title screen. And then right after that, directly, there's like this action scene. And you got to keep in mind that Hayao Miyazaki doesn't do a lot of action scenes. Like action is very limited throughout his filmography. You know, like the only times we ever get to see it is like it is like more specifically adventure romp. You know, like
I think he does quite a lot of action, honestly.
Nausicaa,
Yeah.
Jesus, like Nausicaa, like Castle in the Sky, Cagliostro, and like this film. I mean, like I guess there is a lot more action than I think I'm giving him credit for. But like the action in this one just feels so different
There's
compared to the
more
other action
adventure than
films.
action in his films.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it. But like the action in this one is just handled so much more differently. First of all, like the way the camera moves in that opening action scene, like when the camera moves along with Ashitaka as he's riding the fucking deer, and then like there's like a lot of like unique camera shots, and there's so much more energy to the way that the camera like records like everything that's going on screen.
Yeah,
And then
definitely.
when you actually feel like the visceral impact, like when the guy shoots his arrow into like the giant venom sludge boar monster's eye or whatever, you can like really feel the impact of that scene. It is so immaculately well done. Like I cannot stress how fantastic that opening is. And then like the emotions that the people feel, the energy that the characters feel when they're screaming, or like, you know, when the boar god is like, you shall suffer the same fate that I suffered, or whatever. It is so perfect. It is so, I cannot stress how perfectly done this opening action scene is.
Miyazaki is so efficient too in how he utilizes each sequence. Like the opening sort of literally in the first like 2 minutes in the start of this exciting action sequence, you learn who Ashitaka is. You learn that he's sort of about to defend this small village. And it all happens so quickly, and you understand his character immediately, where he's sort of like very code of honor, lives by, you know, he's obviously grown up like with a strict code of honor. And it's incredible that sort of like the opening 10-minute action sequence when he gets attacked on his arm, which obviously leads throughout, you know, starts up the plot of the movie. You instantly feel something for him. Within that moment, and it's just it's incredible.
Yeah, a particular action scene that I really like, or I guess it's more like a fight scene, but is when Sun and Lady Ibushi are fighting. Speaking of like
that's like the best scene in the movie
and stuff.
Yeah, when she like runs up at the camera, like pushes forward and follows her while like she pulls out her sword and there's the blades clash. Holy shit!
Fuck.
That
the sound
goes
design
hard.
In this film, by the way,
the sound design.
Like even just when they're like running across roofs, like it just sounds incredible.
The build up too, where she's standing up on the roof looking down at all the villages and like shit's on fire. And you're like, this is like the best movie ever made, surely.
The sound effects of like the deer just like running across rocks, just like sounds so good.
Yeah,
I would love to see the sound library for this film. Like it's just like incredible.
unbelievable
Yeah.
stuff.
Sorry, Luca, did you want to expand more on the fight scene? I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to say that was like my favorite, my favorite like fight scene in the whole movie. Just because you were talking about the framing and like where they place the camera in this one, and specifically in that scene, like the way like they block the camera around her knife, like as she pushes in with it, like is just very amazing. And
the
like
best.
and what Jules was saying, like with the sound design, particularly in this scene as well, it's like the clank of every sword and every like movement. It's like the whoosh, yeah, it's just perfect. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
And like the physicality of like Eboshi too in that fight sequence where like she's so effortless in just like defending herself. Like she's clearly just like done this. It's so like that's what I like. Every character
She's just
has
the baddest
such...
bitch in the room.
She really is. Every character's got like such good like ingrained sort of physicalities, and it all just feels so real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And unlike Friday the 13th Forever After, like everyone like talks so naturally on this. Like everyone like talks like a real person. No one, like, for a movie that is supposed to be a cartoon, like everyone just feels like real people. Like it's what I was saying before about the morally gray situation, where it's like you can agree or disagree with whoever you want, but everyone is making good points, like no one is being evil for the sake of evil or being good for the sake of good. Like everyone has their own specific motivations, but unfortunately we're in this moment where those motivations clash with each other. They both are fighting for noble causes, but when those noble causes clash against each other, then like, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like you can't have both. I mean, both characters believe they can't have both, but what we were talking about before about the ending being hopeful, I think it's kind of representative that Miyazaki is hopeful that there is a chance that both nature and humanity can live side by side. And that's a question that even Ashitaka asks in the film. It's like, why can't we live in harmony, or something like that? Whatever he said. He was like, why can't the humans in the forest live together side by side, or something? And I think I feel like out of all the characters, the main characters that Hayao Miyazaki has ever written, like, to me, this feels like his most self-insert character, where like this feels like the most Hayao Miyazaki type person in any of his films, where he's just like, I don't understand, like, why does this violence need to happen? Like, why do we need to fight each other if we're both pursuing very noble causes that really don't need to clash with each other? But they don't necessarily have to, but they have to because of unfortunate circumstances, and you can really feel that frustration and that Miyazaki expresses in his art, in those scenes like that, in the action scenes, in these like very specific moments of violence, even when something isn't really that bloody. Like I remember the first time I saw the scene where Lady Eboshi, she's like, I'm going to show you how to kill a god. And I'm saying it the way Minnie Driver says it, because the way she said it was kind of funny, but whatever. Like when she gets the hand cannon and shoots off the deer god's head, like it's not the most violent thing we've seen throughout the film. But I remember when I saw that scene for the first time, I was like, holy shit. Like I remember I mean, I didn't say holy shit because I was 12, but like I remember I had that energy where it was like,
holy crap,
oh god, like I can't
something
believe they
important
did that.
just
I
happened.
can't believe.
Yeah,
I can't believe what just happened. So. Oh my god, Lois. Yeah.
I think
but yeah, like
I think it's like
you go.
Okay.
Sure.
I was gonna say, like, in terms of like the self-insert thing, I think the thing that like makes it like something like not like, I guess, like annoying is the fact that like that it is set in a fantasy world where it's like these ideas of like, why can't everyone just be nice to each other? Like, why can't like we just like live alongside each other? You'd be like, yeah, fucking like childish ideas. Like, but as soon as you insert it into like the thing of like a fantasy realm with like one of these characters, the ideas become like suddenly so reasonable that like it's just like, yeah, why can't you do that and stuff like. That
Yeah, and I think it was smart for that reason why
exactly.
Miyazaki chose to make this. I guess it's technically like a historical epic, but it's more of a fantasy that just happens to take place in a real historical time period. Like there's enough like tangible reality to the setting where we can inject our own personal beliefs and philosophies and politics into the situation, but it suspends our disbelief just enough where we can, yeah, like what you said, Jules, we can have these questions of like, well, why can't we all be nice to each other and stop being mean and, doing pissing contests or whatever, like it doesn't sound naive or childish in this perspective because this is already kind of trying to be a more grown-up version of like something like, I don't know, like a Lewis Carroll novel or some shit. Not Lewis Carroll. I don't know why I said C.S. Lewis. That's what I meant. It's trying to be a more adult version of like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe anyway, So like it makes sense to have these like childlike ideas about peace and, violence while also having enough tangibility where it's like, but that is true. Why can't we have this? Why can't we think like this,
And he's definitely pulling from like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Luca.
Yeah, have you guys seen those memes recently where it's like a very beautiful landscape and then like the text just says people saw this and invented Microsoft Teams or something?
Yeah.
Right.
This is like that, but the movie. It's like people saw this and invented Skibbity Toilet or something, Like,
well, I see the opposite of that. Like, I always see like videos of like these like beautiful like landscapes and people like there's a lot of room for parking lots or Walmarts. Yeah.
Oh no. I've seen those ones as well. But recently there's been ones where it's like, yeah, like beautiful landscapes and it's like people saw this and invented gambling or something. It's like just funny stuff. But this movie is like one of those pure, like beautiful, like just things, like relics of the past, like, and that's also what it's trying to capture, like the beauty of these places and why they need to like be preserved, like how, like, because it's kind of like the forest has been here for so long, it is adapted, it has formed its own ecosystem, like in our own right. Why do we deserve to come and like destroy it,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Yeah, it's like when it is lived here for way longer than you have and it will live here for way longer than you will survive, it's like, and this imbalance and destroying this like this thriving body, it's like what Jules was saying is like with these fantasy worlds, like we can't like easy to grasp themes is because like they're so hyper fictionalized, where it's like where we are put into these types of realities and see the problems that they face. It's like, oh yeah, because obviously on Earth, in like globally, like these are things that happen, but they're like at a much slower pace. But because everything in like a fantasy movie is so heightened and it happens so fast, it helps you like, it kind of like bonks you on the head like even further and helps you realize these things like at face value. It's like, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't actually go burn down the forest, guys. Like, but obviously portraying that in such a nuanced and just like kind of spiritual way, like kind of connecting you with like this fantasy world, like, yeah, it's just very serene in that regard.
Absolutely.
Kind of like I was mentioning it to this earlier, but like our like this hidden connection that we have with nature and stuff like that. Like I think the embodiment of like at the end, like where her gun like actually gets overwhelmed like by roots and by like trees and shit. It's like, it's like it's like again another sentiment of like you know, we will overgrow, we will take over again. So don't try stop us,
That's
you know.
such a good point, because that's like the
Yeah.
image. That's like the image that sums up the movie the most perfect, of like this machine
Yeah.
of war that's just been like just completely made useless by nature. And that's the perfect image to sum up the
Yeah.
entire movie.
And the
It
movie
is-
also shows you like evidence of you can take from nature and nature will still be able to reserve itself.
Mhm.
But like if you take too much, then what does that say about you, and what
Mhm.
does that mean? And how it is actually harmful instead of resourceful
And terrifying.
and
Yeah.
and
And it'll
terrifying,
eventually
yeah.
fight back if you don't. Yeah, if you continue pushing forward, you know, like it's. I really like what you were saying about like they have this like this all powerful technological weaponry here. And it's just like fucking worthless, you know. Like
Yeah,
at the
as
end
soon
of the
as
day, compared to
nature
like
gets-
the power
yeah.
of nature. Yeah, it's like
Exactly.
it really is. It kind of you know, I don't know how prevalent like something like climate change was. The discussion behind that was whenever this film came out, but I'm sure that that's probably something he was trying to go for, which is like if we continue pushing the planet past its limit, beyond their limitations, to this extent, if we continue doing this, like eventually nature is going to fight back and we're going to experience like devastating loss because of our constant need to consume, you know. And it is a very visceral but still visually stimulating way of kind of communicating that point, you know. It's like in a way it also kind of reminded me of something like, I don't know, like maybe like the Last of Us or something, because the Last of Us also had like that idea where it's like, you know, if we're constantly consuming bits of nature, you know, what if like nature decided to fight back, and nature's way of fighting back is, you know, through zombies and shit, you know. Obviously it doesn't have as big of an environmental like theme as like Princess Mononoke does, but I love how like there's that tangible idea of like we keep pushing nature to its absolute limits, to the point that we're taking more and more and more than the nature is willing to give, that it just
Don't
can't
fuck
take it
with the
anymore and
streets
starts
that made
imploding.
you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like don't shit where you eat. Like that's the best way to describe it. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's it. On how scary, on how quickly it can turn on us, and sort of our fragile nature.
I mean, I don't think
when
it's
it
really
wins.
like trying to say like, oh, nature's gonna turn on you
No.
and like kill you. It's
No.
just kind of like a you know, yeah, it's hard to describe, but it's
Yeah,
like
it is such a heavy one.
Yeah.
It's interesting
Yeah.
too that I think for a little while this was going to be his last movie. Is that right? And then Spirited Away.
He said
eventually-
that like 600
Oh,
times
has he?
throughout
Okay.
his career. Yeah, he
Yeah,
said
okay.
that like so many fucking times that at this point it's just a meme, because like he said that Spirited Away was going to be his last movie, and then Howl's Moving Castle was going to be his last movie, and then The Wind Rises was going to be his last movie, and then How Do You Live was going to be his last movie. He has said that like 5,000 times throughout his filmography.
His work ethic
I'll believe
is
it.
unbelievable.
Yeah. I'll believe it when he's dead. Like when I
Yeah.
see his body in a coffin, then I'll believe that that was his last movie.
Yeah,
he's-
like
Sorry,
it's
go ahead. Luca.
actually yeah, no, it's actually crazy like watching all those Miyazaki interviews and stuff, because like he must like get so passionate, because like if like it is kind of uncanny like when you see him and he's like so depressed and stuff, but
Yeah.
like all of his media is just about like, you know,
It's so-
cherishing the life you have, cherishing
Yeah.
the people around you, cherishing these memories, cherishing the nature, cherishing the environment. And then when you see him, it's just like, oh, it's all fucking bullshit.
Someone
you
give him
know?
a hug,
It's like,
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's just like yeah, it's like I don't. There's this meme that's just it's really funny,
Like-
because like. Yeah, like if Hayao Miyazaki, like his movies are very like, oh, hopeful and happy and cheery, but then he's just the most like sad, depressed guy in the world, and it's the complete opposite with like someone like Junji Ito, who
Yeah.
makes like some of the most terrifying like horror mangas ever. But then he's just like a really chill, nice guy who just like likes cats or whatever. And I'm just like,
I just think
so
like
funny.
yeah.
like the media's just only shown like the worst parts of Miyazaki, you know, like because like
you
what
seen
we
the-
see of him is certainly not as what is reflected in his movies, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
So
Have you
it's
seen that
like,
video of
yeah.
him talking to the child who says like, "Thank you for the Howl movie," and he goes like, "You're welcome."
Yeah, yeah,
It's one of the only
yeah.
clips I've seen where he looks like happy, where he's like
It's like
laughing.
he's like Gordon
Yeah.
Ramsay. It's like as soon as Gordon Ramsay's on like MasterChef for kids, he's like,
Yeah, yeah,
like
You
in adults,
fucking
it's like you
donkey.
fuck. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, him as an artist he's got an unbelievable work ethic. I couldn't believe I read this. He personally corrected or redrew more than 80,000 of the film's 144,000 animation cells.
That's fucking crazy.
This
Yeah,
is a
that
guy.
makes
This is an
sense.
insane person.
That's a yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he kind of has that like Kubrick or Fincher sense of
He's like,
perfectionism to him, where it's
yeah,
like
I'm not
if
releasing
he's
it
not
until it's like I'm
satisfying with,
happy with it. Yeah,
yeah,
you
if
know
he's not
that,
satisfying with something, then like he's just gonna do it himself, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of
So-
weird. I don't think we ever talked about this, but on Boy and the Heron, he like really like let himself like loose a lot, where he was just like, to the animators or like to the assistant directors, like just do how you feel like it. Just like
interesting.
like he seems to have like
It's shocking.
yeah, which is kind of quite interesting that he did that. Like he was like,
I mean,
yeah,
it
just
still
like go
looks
ahead and figure it
beautiful.
out. Like use your own
Maybe he
imagination.
he
Yeah,
just
do
finally
whatever.
had the trust in him, because isn't like kind of what that movie's about, you know, like just finally having the trust to like
Right.
just let go.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
True.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
I guess
he
maybe he
finally,
felt like
like,
he would have
his-
been
he
he would have been
he
hypocritical
finally-
if he was like a mega control freak on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
He-
finally
he
took the
kind of
stick out
is-
of his ass. He was like,
Yeah,
okay, you
exactly.
guys can like yeah.
I will chill by 10 to 15% more. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I will breathe down your neck 10 to 15% less. So just a little less. Yeah, and you can see that. I mean, like, yeah, I that totally makes sense, because I feel like Miyazaki's also kind of at that age. It's kind of like because James Cameron also said something similar, where he's like, the guy who was being a complete fucking dick on like The Abyss and like Titanic and shit like that, like that's not really me anymore. Like I can't really be that kind of guy anymore, you know, because not only does it create a toxic work environment, but it also, you know, can be very strenuous and anxiety inducing. Like why would you want to subject your workers like that, you know? And I guess like Miyazaki maybe kind of had a similar experience where like he's kind of gotten to that age. He's old enough where he's just like, it's like Lucas said, like I can't continue
Yeah.
keeping the stick up my ass, you know, like
Right.
I need to learn to trust and let go more, you know. But I also think it's just him kind of like realizing that like I guess he is just the face of, he is Studio Ghibli at this point, you know. Like what are you going to do without Hayao
Well,
Miyazaki, you know? Like
that's
give
exactly
it to
right.
Goro, like fuck no, you know.
I mean,
like
like, with
you
the
gotta
incredible-
learn to trust.
Yeah, exactly. With the incredible like career run that he's had, he can afford to like relax a little bit now.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by giving more trust to people, who knows, you might inspire more artists to find their own voice and create masterpieces that could compete with Miyazaki's films. Like I think that's like my sort of personal frustration with like Studio Ghibli as like a company. It's that like everyone is so hyper focused on doing whatever the fuck Miyazaki wants, and to an extent what Takahata wants, that like no one really takes the time to figure out their own voices within the company, you know? Like there's
Right.
the reason why Miyazaki has struggled so hard to find a successor for the company is because no one else has stepped up, aside from like maybe the Whisper of the Heart guy, but he also died, you know? So you're kind of like out of luck on that angle. So it's like, how are you supposed to foster the next generation of Ghibli artists to take over after you're dead if you're not willing to trust them enough to give them the resources and time to kind of let their imagination seep through, you know? Like, and I think that totally makes sense why he would be more relaxed and trustworthy that his artist will make something great, you know? Like if that was his approach to say like fucking Anno, then like who knows, we never could have gotten Evangelion, because you have to remember that Miyazaki only took on Anno as an animator for Nausicaa, Jesus, for Nausicaa, because he trusted him for that like giant like god warrior sequence. He trusted that what he had in mind and the specific ideas that he had for that sequence, he trusted him to just let him do whatever he wanted, and the end result is arguably the best scene in the entire film. We wouldn't like Ono wouldn't probably be the artist he is today without Miyazaki just giving him that trust. And I think there should be more trust for Miyazaki to give to other artists, because I want to see this company continue growing and developing. I don't want it to just be the place that Hayao Miyazaki just shits out another film. You know, I want it to be a company where more voices can be heard,
The
more
house
artists
that
can
Hayao
showcase
built.
their talents, you know? Sorry?
The house that Hayao built.
Yeah, exactly. The house that Hayao built, you know? So
That would be a
like,
crazy
and
movie.
yeah, and sure, like they might not make as good movies as Hayao or Takahata, you know. I would argue that's kind of like Pixar's like struggles now, like because like the people who made Pixar what it is either left or don't make movies anymore, you know, and
Or got
you're
their
left with talent.
pedophile allegations against them or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, or they're like a rapist or whatever, you know. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
sure, like the talent of today might not make as many like memorable masterpieces as the talent of yesteryear, but they at least were given the opportunity to be handed those chances and make something of their own, you know? Like, I don't think The Cat Returns is an amazing movie. I don't think
Oh, it's a good
fucking
movie.
it's fine. It's fine. I don't think Arrietty or When Marnie Was There are necessarily great movies, but I'm glad they got, you know, their chances. I'm glad they got their due, you know? So
I'll always
sorry,
associate
that
Arrietty with Luca just because that was her profile picture for so
yeah, that
long.
was yeah. Yeah.
And then I watched the
So
film and I was like, oh shit, that's OG Luca
yeah, I
profile
had the
picture.
Leonardo DiCaprio from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood moment. I was like,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
that's her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because the other day I saw like a meme of like, or not a meme, it was like a post. It was like, which is your Ghibli aesthetic? And it had like, I don't know, like Spirited Away, Totoro, Arrietty was there. I think Ponyo was there. And I was like, damn, actually looking at these, mine isn't even Arrietty. Damn. But yeah.
But
But
probably
I do be looking like the Arrietty girl even right now. Like,
oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh my God, it's
let me get the
Arrietty.
picture.
I Lucas' response to this was very funny as well, because I was watching the G Kids trailer for The Secret World of Arrietty, and then I compared it to the way Disney marketed the same film. And I was so mad at the way Disney was marketing the film, because it was just like they threw in some shitty pop song or whatever, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, come on. And then the way that Arrietty was like just so much better. But then it just didn't matter because I gave it a 5 out of 10, and Luca was like, this this anger you had towards Disney didn't even matter because you didn't even like the movie that much anyway. And I was like, that's fair. I'll give you that. So anyway,
Yeah, I was like,
feel
why
like
why you even try to be mad when you didn't even like the movie or something like
Yeah.
that? I said, yeah,
because I don't have a soul. All I am capable of is anger and frustration.
But with that, probably
So
Okay.
anyway,
pivoting towards like
Yeah.
sort of final thoughts on Princess Mononoke is sort of the segment here where any sort of scenes or lines of dialogue we may have left out that we want to touch on while we're wrapping up, but also sort of continuing the discussion. So any sorts of you know, favorite scenes in the movie or lines of dialogue that we may have left out?
You're beautiful.
Yeah, that's the
Yep.
that's the other thing I don't think is sort of the blossoming sort of heartfelt romantic connection in the movie too that
Mhm.
is really well earned between the two leads.
Yeah, they
What's
have a lot of
the-
chemistry together.
They really do, and it does sort of hit hard towards the end when you know, not to give too much away, but like sort of the perilous nature that she ends up in, and yeah, in that final fight sequence is genuinely like heartfelt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just
I
why
just
can't they
realized that
just
this movie is about a communist, a capitalist, and a centrist.
Oh my god,
Oh my God,
Brilliant.
real.
brilliant!
God, I can't believe Miyazaki went woke for broke.
Yeah.
What exactly are
woke.
you here for? To see eyes unclouded by hate.
That's like that's the line. I love that eyes unclouded
yeah,
line.
that
That's
line's
so
pretty
fucking good.
good.
So good. But yeah, like it's
Yeah, you say like what are the best lines of the whole movie is just
I
filled with
know.
the best lines. Like we're
Yeah.
just gonna say the entire movie at that point.
Say the entire script. Yeah, that's true. The
Yeah.
like I feel like honestly the movie could have gone on for like another 2.5 hours and I still
I
wouldn't
know,
have
I
been,
just wouldn't have been tired of it.
yeah, still wouldn't have been like
Yeah.
fulfilled with like sort of all the niche touches of that world.
Yeah, I really, man, if they made if Ghibli made like a mini series expanding on this
Right.
film, I would eat it all up.
Yeah, definitely.
I would sit through the whole show. Yeah, man, because I really would like more expansive universe. Like I feel like every single one of Miyazaki's movies, like you could probably conceive of like a pretty decent sequel to like any one of his films if you really wanted to, but he just doesn't. I mean, he apparently he wanted to make
No, I
sequels for
don't
a bunch
think
of his
they
other films, you know?
Interesting.
I'm not saying they need sequels. I'm just saying they could lend themselves to sequels if he really wanted to, you know, and I would
Don't
probably
throw that
watch
out into
them,
the
but
universe, Timmy. Okay, bad things
I don't think
happen in in
I don't
our
think
world.
Ghibli or Miyazaki gives a shit about what I say.
I don't mean like as a just don't throw that idea out into the world, you know, because you
Okay,
never
all right.
know what will happen.
Well, he just kind of comes up with these things himself. Like apparently, fun fact, after he made Ponyo, Miyazaki wanted his last film to be like Ponyo 2 or something like that. He really wanted to make a
Wow.
sequel to Ponyo.
Interesting.
Yeah, but his producer was like, "No, make The Wind Rises
No.
instead." And he was like, "Damn it, fine," or whatever. So, yeah, I think it's really funny that he wants to make sequels out of all people, but his producer of all people was like, "No." Like it's like the complete opposite of how Hollywood works.
Right, yeah. It's like, no, do something
Yeah.
original.
No.
No. That's so funny.
I mean, the only excuse I would like for like a Miyazaki sequel is taking like a movie like Ponyo or maybe Nausicaa and like exploring those same ideas, but maybe like a bit better on like a grander scale or something. Because like I wouldn't want him to make like a Spirited Away 2 or Princess Mononoke
Electric
2,
Boogaloo.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. Yeah.
No, any other sort of sequences or even just like sort of designs from like environments in the movie that like we just constantly think about or creatures even like we haven't even touched on I love the design of those little white guys
they're
that
so
shake.
pretty.
Oh,
They're so
There's always one
the
of those
Funko
little
Pops?
guys
The
in a.
spirits.
Yeah, the
There's
Funko
always one of
Pops.
those
Funko
little guys
Pops?
in a Miyazaki
so
film.
unsettling.
Don't call them fucking Funko Pops, dude. Oh my
It
god.
genuinely got a good laugh out of me when they were following that one, and just like it really emphasized the butt on that thing. When he's right.
Yeah, you know Miyazaki, he likes asses.
He's an ass man.
He's an ass man. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah.
that little spirit at the end, it's like, oh yeah, you know, the forest isn't fully dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
No,
that and the
Very
score
sweet,
that they
very
play
earnest, like,
and the music they play
yeah.
at the end where San's like, I
San.
love you, Ashitaka, but we can't be together because Miyazaki is a dick or whatever.
right.
And the music that they play during that sequence is just like, God, please, just play this on my funeral, please. This is so beautiful or whatever, you know? So yeah, I genuinely think this is the best score in any of Miyazaki's films. I love the music. The music alone, like, is just worthy of praise. That alone is like a 10 out of 10. So
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, but
yeah.
that's probably going to do it with us on Princess Mononoke. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the part of the show where why does Friday the 13th, the final chapter, and Princess Mononoke pair well together? I'll start. I think for me personally, I saw both movies as sort of like a sort of expressionistic, like on how scary Mother Nature could be in terms of like Jason personifying that as nature is just like an
They're
unstoppable
both trying to protect their
nature
forest.
Yes, yes, there we go. And
Yeah.
obviously
And they're
That's
both
true,
the
yeah.
protagonists are masked.
and obviously
well, actually, the people protecting the forests both have
Yeah.
masks.
Yes. Yeah, there we go.
That's all I had.
Does anyone?
That's all I
Does it?
had.
Oh, and both movies, people get thrown out of things. Not necessarily windows in Princess Mononoke, but people do get thrown out of things.
Yeah. I think
So
the
that's
biggest
true.
connection there is obviously on how scary nature is. They're two very sort of the horrifics of nature is very heavy, both prominent in both.
Man, bear,
Yeah.
pig.
Man, bear, pig. Yes, obviously Jason, being nature, and then sort of there's obviously that nature is a character in Princess Mononoke.
Well,
Yeah.
they're just like kind of both about like stooping on the wrong turf,
Yeah,
like-
exactly right.
You fuck around
Yeah.
with nature and it bites back in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
that was
Literally
perfect,
in
Luca. Well done.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And
that
not
was
even
should
like
have been an
specifically
end-
nature, just like these are the guardians of the forest,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Yeah, there should have been an end
Yeah.
credit scene in Princess Mononoke where Jason shows up and is like, "I'm going to talk to you about the Avengers
Yeah.
Initiative or some shit."
Everyone started
These
clapping.
movies honestly weirdly connect very well. Like
Mhm.
when I first saw that, so these are just randomized, right, Jack?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I saw them and I was like, "What the fuck? How are we gonna connect these two movies?"
It always
I was
happens.
like-
It always happens, guys. How the
like,
fuck are we gonna do this?
but-
But it always ends up
But
working.
you know what? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
I can
on
see it.
horror films when we would always unintentionally make like very good like movies to watch together. Like
Yeah.
they
Oh,
just
yeah.
had like similar themes or similar
Mhm.
something, that had it going for them. Yeah.
No, I think we've done well.
Yeah,
Well done, Luca.
it was. Yeah,
yeah.
it was genius by mistake. We accidentally created something genius.
Both of these movies have weapons in them, bladed weapons.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think, is
Both
there a
of these-
beheading in Friday the 13th? That's
Ooh,
a
I-
sort
There were a
of
ton of
start-
beheadings in Friday the 13th.
as sort
Yeah,
of
but
as
like not in
startling
the
as
fourth one.
not in the fourth one.
Oh, guys.
Oh.
Both of these were apparently supposed to be final
Yes,
movies.
yes,
but
well
then
done. There we go.
the movies
there we go.
ended up
okay,
being
yeah.
made. Yeah.
Well done. Well
That's
done.
the true link.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
like that.
There we go.
Both-
There we go.
Both movies have diseased looking children.
Yeah,
Princess
true.
Mononoke being lepers, and then Friday the 13th being Corey Feldman. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Spot on.
Yep.
Spot on.
Good one. Good one.
I think that's it. I
I
can't
don't
think of
know.
any others.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like put my mind like
Trying to
I'm
think, but
trying
my
to
friend's
use all
sending me
my
drunk
brain
DMs at the
power.
moment, so I'm a bit distracted.
Both insists upon themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
It insists upon itself.
Peter.
I need to skip through Friday the 13th again and just see if there's like any.
There's scenes of swimming in both.
That's true.
There's water in both movies. There's grass in both
yeah, there was-
movies.
There was
There's trees
Like-
in both movies. Yeah.
They're both
Okay, wait.
movies.
Both movies end of a shot of a little guy.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both movies made by guys with funny sounding last names.
Yeah.
That's just my inner American being all racist there. I'm sorry to Italians, not to Japanese people.
No, but wrapping up now, this is normally the time the guests plug anything they want to plug. So what's in the works, you three, what's happening? If you guys want to plug your separate channels, please, the stage is yours. Plug the podcast of course, and all your social medias.
Wait, Luca, are we plugging our thing, or is that?
I don't think there's anything to plug, dude. Not yet.
Yeah, we're going to plug our little side thing.
Okay.
I'll plug my or not my website, but
Wait, what side thing? Are you guys doing shit without me? That's so fucking. No, I don't
no.
care. I'm just kidding.
It's like
definitely did.
not even anything yet, so don't worry.
It's one thing that we
Yeah.
we did like 6 months ago now. I'm not even.
Oh, okay.
Oopsie. Yeah,
I'll
the
plug
website,
me and my friend's website, Limitless Impact, where we're uploading our papers and stuff, and just essays on cinema and stuff. Some good times over there.
Good stuff.
I'll plug my letterbox. Just at J Matheson. I upload some essays, reviews in there. I would plug my channel, but I'm not really uploading on it anymore. But if you want to see it, it's the Walrus Man, the greatest name that I ever came up with, and that's it. Fund my movies if you can. If anyone wants to send me like money on PayPal, I'll make a movie.
That's the best plug any guest has had so far. Just direct, send me money.
Yeah.
Give me money.
Give me money.
Give me money. I need to buy a Macca's.
I gotta pay rent.
Jules needs to buy more Call Me By Your Name memorabilia.
Oh yeah, Luka knows about that recent side quest.
Yeah.
Give me money.
No, I'm collecting T-shirts that Elio wears in the film. Like I find them on like Amazon and eBay and stuff.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
You are a
It is
nerd.
so gay. You guys
Jesus
are so
Christ.
right.
I thought you were gonna say, "Give me money so I can find a way to buy the peach that Tim Cham stuck his ween in the peach." Give me money so I can buy it.
Someone
I need money
owns
so
that.
I can. Oh god. I need money so I can fund Bunnings' trip with Jack when he comes down to Melbourne.
Let's get a revival of your YouTube happening, and we'll make Bunnings vlogs together where we just go in and buy just shit.
One of my videos, like for some reason, just like shot up to almost 100k views in like a few weeks. I've just it was the video that I uploaded like a year ago that I made in like an
Which
afternoon.
one?
It was just called William Friedkin Talking Shit compopulation. It was my tribute. It was my tribute to him after he died.
Did it go for 10 hours? Because that guy can talk some shit.
It was a lot of it was just his commentary from cruising.
Fuck, I love him.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, and
after the day I'm good.
it's I know it's blown up when now people are arguing in the comments about like shit. Yeah.
Luca, Timmy, do we have anything we want to plug?
Go, Timmy.
My PayPal, give me money. I gotta buy all the
You guys keep saying your
me.
PayPal and then not saying like the link to the PayPal.
Yeah, just send
Give
me
me
money on PayPal.
No, not just my
Send me
just
cash
like
in the mail.
Put cash in an envelope and send it to me via mail so I can use the money to buy my
like the Wolf of Wall Street scam.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I need money to pay for Evangelion models and fucking figurines and shit. That shit isn't cheap, man. So give me money so I can buy more Misato figurines, please. Thank you. Let's see what else. I guess my channel. I post dumb shit there, so it's Tim Jong-un Productions. I recently released a Whisper of the Heart video. I was pretty satisfied with that, and now I'm gonna commit to making. Well, I haven't. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't. I'm still in the pre-planning phase of a big video that I'm trying to make, but I've been putting aside for months because I'm working on other creative projects. My what? Sorry.
Is this the hentai video?
Yeah, you said it, not me. Yeah, so that's my big video project that I'm trying to get up and the running, but I'm focusing on different creative projects that they're not ready to share yet, but I'm just kind of working on those. And then once I'm done with the hentai video, I want to make a video about Thunderpants because I'm very passionate about that. So that's gonna be my next one.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, channel and give me money. Those are my plugs.
Nice.
Luca?
If you want more of Timmy's thoughts on Princess Mononoke, he has a video on that.
Yeah, true.
There we go.
Oh,
Why?
and we also
Oh,
just
yeah,
we
I
gotta.
did.
What
yeah.
do you mean, do you? What? You're not even
Do you think I remember like half the shit that I made?
Bruh.
Doesn't
Wow.
remember his own videos. I remember all my videos back to like 2019 that you'll never see.
Can you release those?
Okay.
They're still up if you can find the links to
There
them.
we go. All right.
They're on
Oh
That's
yeah,
my
I
job.
did. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I did. Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess what Lucas said. Watch my video if you want to hear me spooge about Princess Mononoke
apparently
more.
don't
Yeah.
watch it if like Timmy not even gonna give a fuck that you watch it because you didn't even give a fuck about the video's existence.
No,
so,
I did give a
okay.
fuck. I just forgot for a bit. Okay.
I know.
I'm
joking.
yeah.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Oh, and we also got to plug our fucking podcast that we're not recording anymore. Far Off Films.
Why? What happened?
Oh, yeah.
So
We
When you're
stopped.
recording? Why?
We capped it at 50 episodes.
What the fuck? Why? That was like the.
We didn't tell you.
No, I didn't know about this. What the
Oh,
fuck?
I
I
thought
just
we did.
assumed you knew. I
It's
gotta
like a
be honest,
fucking
I assumed
reunion
one-
concert on my podcast right
I
now.
honestly
What happened?
don't think
And
we
you didn't even
haven't-
know.
Yeah, it's a reunion.
We kept
concept.
referring to
And
it
you
in
know
the
what's
chat as
even
like
funnier?
Far Off Films,
Stop.
like bonus episode, like special
You know what's
features. Only,
even funnier?
only real
Jack?
fans know about this.
Yeah.
Jack, this will be out even before like
Far Off Films
This
has
is a
ended.
fucked up situation I'm in the middle of right now. I don't like this.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
The
it's
Far Off
like,
Films episode, which we recorded like 4 months ago, has been uploaded 2 months ago.
I wish I was
And we
notified about this
recorded
pre-recording.
4 new episodes since then, which we did 2 months ago.
Where they're on in
probably.
the back burner right now.
Unbelievable.
For context, we recorded the last episode of Far Off Films the day that like Donald Trump was shot at, and that was
That's
7 weeks
poetic.
ago now.
That's poetic.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a deep
He
commentary.
almost took a bullet for Far Off Films.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Did we? I swear
Exactly.
we like.
No,
we
yeah,
recorded
because
that
I remember
before.
exactly, like, because I was like,
It was
okay,
around the same
hey,
time.
this is how I'm
yeah.
gonna measure
Okay.
like how much like time it takes to upload.
Okay.
Like I was like, how much can the
long is
world
it?
change between like and then nothing happened. So
Between the next Far Off Films upload.
So, have you guys recorded the last episode?
yes,
Yeah.
7 weeks ago now.
7 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's still not uploaded.
Yeah,
Along with like
I've been
3 other
it is-
episodes.
To be fair, 2 of them are I'm
Oopsie.
supposed to edit, and I would been meaning to, but I have been insanely busy, and they are being worked on. But yeah, the last one we recorded was a pretty fun one because we each got to recommend something and then talk about them, and I was like, well, we already did 3 Satoshi Kon movies already. We might as well just end it with
So that
with the last
that
one we
just
haven't done yet. So.
means that
You
you will
let-
have to invite us on here more, Jack.
Well,
yeah,
this is
exactly.
it. I got to
So
get.
if you want.
Well, apparently this has just been one big reunion, so we've got to get more reunions in the work now. So I was completely unaware about all this. I'm shocked.
Yeah,
That
this is the
kinda
biggest
fucked up
plot
that we
twist of the
didn't say
entire
anything.
episode. I just assumed. I'm gonna be honest. I just
seriously
assumed one
didn't
of you.
inform you.
It's like the perfect cap
I j-
off to this.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I
How
assumed
long
one
have
of
we been
you
planning
two
this
already told
episode?
him,
Like,
so I didn't
since-
say anything.
I thought we've been planning this episode since like pretty much before Far Off Films was even like
Yeah, it's fucked
known
up.
to be ending.
This whole
and we
week, I'm
we
like,
didn't
been
tell
telling everyone, I'm like, all right, I'm getting the lovely people from Far Off Films on. It's gonna be fucking exciting. Apparently, Far Off Films isn't even a thing anymore.
It
Far Off
lives on in
Films is-
spirit.
is dead.
Yeah, it lives on in the Nether region, in the Nether world, where in the
Okay.
world of Minecraft,
Yes.
starring
I
Jablinski
have
games.
to go
Yeah.
now, my little squirrel friends.
We'll end
You
it
want to
here.
plug your shit first?
Honestly, I don't have anything to plug. I'm just grateful to be here.
Oh, Luca, that's
Aw.
amazing. Thank you.
I love spending time with you all.
We'll end it there.
Um,
Thank you all for
Aw.
listening.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
ending is going
I
off
love
the
you
rails.
all.
Love you all.
But if you want,
This
you can
is-
go subscribe to Floopy Doopy.
There we go.
If you want.
There's you got the
Also,
yeah.
share your PayPal. PayPal. You can't
PayPal.
end this without saying get
She got the
PayPal. PayPal. Give Luca
PayPal
money.
slash
Give Luca
Give
money.
all of us money.
cereal. for some, if you want to
Oh my
send me
god, you're
some
actually
cash.
plugging your PayPal.
He actually plugged in. Give all of us money,
PayPal
please.
What's my
We're
ING
poor.
account? Let's see.
Unbelievable.
This is the
Unbelievable.
fucking craziest. Like,
This is gone. This ending
this
has
only
lasted
happens on
45
horror
minutes.
films.
I
Like,
loved
you never,
every
Yeah.
second of this.
you never get this with like Santi or AJ or like John with someone.
Yeah.
Oh,
No one does it like
Yeah.
us.
No one begs for money like we do.
Just shaking your little empty can full of change.
Yeah, yeah. Please.
You know that
Like, like,
Squidward meme where
yeah,
he's
the
all
give us
filthy?
Squidward, I was about to say.
Yeah, I actually do have to go now because I'm going to the
All
beach.
right.
So...
All right. All the best,
Bye.
Luca.
Bye, motherfuckers.
Bye, everyone.
I love
Bye.
you all.
Bye.
viewers.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy we miss.